Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. American forces striking back at Iran after an Iranian drone hit a U.S. Army Apache helicopter, sending it down near the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Jonathan Karl speaking with the president as the U.S. attacks were announced.
He does not see this as the beginning of a major new offensive against the Iranians. This is a response to what they did with our helicopter last night, the president told me. And I believe the response should be very strong, very powerful. And that's what this is.
Iran firing attacks at Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait all shot down. ABC News now projecting Republican Steve Hilton will square off against Democrat Javier Becerra in the race for governor in California. Despite recent controversies, Democrat Graham Plattner projected to win the nomination in the Senate race in Maine against incumbent Susan Collins. A Texas teenager has been convicted of killing a fellow high schooler at a track meet, sentenced to 35 years. This is ABC News. The Department of Justice pushing back on a lawsuit challenging this weekend's planned Ultimate Fighting Championship on the White House South Lawn.
The Justice Department attacked the plaintiffs who brought the suit, calling them, quote, two people who believe they have superior taste and want to spoil the event for everyone else. They also argued the case lacks any reasonable standing, while describing the timing of the filing as, quote, inexcusable, given the event was first announced nearly a year ago. The Trump administration describes the UFC fight in its filing as, quote, one of the most highly anticipated events in a series to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States, at one point likening it to the annual Easter egg roll on the South Lawn and congressional picnic. Peter Haralamus, ABC News.
And when we talk about the U.S. economy, inflation is still inflating. When the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index for May drops later this morning, experts are expecting it to show prices 4.2% higher than a year ago. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is now 6:02. This is Total Information AM. It's sunny and 75 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning,
choose North City, choose Black people, choose community.
Dozens of people with those sentiments packing the Kennedy Room before the St. Louis Aldermanic HUD's committee on how the last of the Rams money should be spent.
$110 million was already going to tornado recovery in North St. Louis, but community members wanted the committee to take $55 million slated for downtown to be reallocated for the tornado. But the people felt like their pleas fell on deaf ears.
After they met with you in your hearings and your office hours, that this, after all of that, people who are suffering the most made time to give you all of that time, all of that energy, and this is the best you will give them? You don't deserve to lead this safe. You are more of the same, and you ought to be ashamed.
The Aldermanic HUD Committee voted unanimously to give the $110 million to tornado recovery with another $10 million, and Alderwoman Alicia Saunier added an amendment to use the interest from the $55 million going to downtown. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge.
We really cleaned up, I think, the downtown bucket. You know, the downtown bucket had about 5 different uses, and it really wasn't clear, like the riverfront language wasn't clear. It was important that we mentioned that there's actually a plan for downtown, and there's been a plan for downtown before COVID.
The people were not happy with the vote and vowed to vote the alder people who backed $55 million for downtown out of office. It now goes before the full board of aldermen. Rasheen Aldridge expects passage. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
St. Louis County's new police chief, Colonel Juan Cox, is laying out where he wants to take the department. First, the Board of Police Commissioners on what made him their pick.
Our decisions relied a lot on his experience, his background, and quite candidly, his results in working with the community, working within this department, his relationship building, his future vision focus.
As for that vision, Cox keeps it simple.
My vision is I just want to be the department to be recognized as one of the premier police departments in the nation.
Cox has spent his entire career with the St. Louis County Department, more than 30 years from recruit to deputy chief before this promotion.
It's been a rough spring for anyone running a venue full of teenagers.
The chaos at Sky Zone in Shrewsbury Sunday is part of something playing out at attractions across the country. Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, 55 people now face charges, most of them juveniles, with offenses including felony riot and aggravated assault from its own opening day fight back in April. Six Flags St. Louis dealt with a teen takeover on opening night. 100 teenagers started fighting in the parking lot. That same weekend, more than 1,000 kids stormed an Orlando entertainment complex after a takeover event circulated online. That one took 50 deputies to break up and put 2 in the hospital. Park after park has responded with new chaperone policies requiring adults to accompany anybody under a certain age. At Sky Zone Sunday, there were no extra security measures, according to police, despite a large crowd expected, and it took 6 hours and multiple neighboring police agencies helped to clear the area. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Ackerman says they have programs and tips available to help lower your energy bills or help low-income residents make payments. However, what they do not recommend is turning off your air conditioning when the temperature gets high. Ackerman Vice President Tara Oglesby.
Not running your air conditioning unit can, cause severe health issues and even death. And we don't, we want to prevent that from happening.
She adds, if you are struggling, you can reach out to them or to Cool Down St. Louis for financial assistance.
St. Louisans are still dealing with high gas prices even as they begin to dip. KMOX's Sean Malone hit the pumps to see if the impact is felt.
We take $100 to fill this truck up, man. And, minimum wage is only at 15. Things keep going up.
So what are your thoughts on the price of gas right now? They've come down a little bit, but they're still pretty high. What are your thoughts?
I think it's just normal like every summer. It gets into the 350s, high threes, so close to 4, and I think it's just something we deal with.
I actually don't drive very much, so I don't get gas very often.
No.
But I would say it's still definitely higher than we want it to be.
Well, I don't pay for gas, but it's very expensive.
You don't pay for gas? Who does?
My company pays for it.
So how much of a perk is that for you right now then?
Oh my God, I wouldn't be able to survive if it wasn't, if it wasn't a benefit, honestly. Yeah.
I don't know what kind of line of work you do or how much driving that involves, but how much is that saving you?
Oh, at least a couple $100 a month. At least, yeah. Probably $300 a month, I would say.
Also in the news this morning, the NFIB's Small Business Optimism Index fell in May, while uncertainty indexes rose. The NFIB's chief economist, Bill Dunkelberg, says more small business owners are struggling with significant and unpredictable hikes in fuel prices. The cost of running a business continues to climb, and their customers are feeling the pinch as well. Reports of supply chain disruptions picked up in May.
6:07 right now. We're going to take a break and we'll check the forecast. And yes, the steamy weather continues for another day or so, and traffic as well. It's 6:07.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma tree experts.
All right, let's take a look at the roadways right now. The sun is shining brightly, so it's going to be steamy hot today with lots of sun. Roger Brand has the latest for you on the ride in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, unfortunately, there's still no change on 55 down south. That'd be southbound 55 specifically. It's overnight road work, milling work that's going on 67, just immediately south of 55. We're at the interchange, really. So folks coming north on 67 cannot get onto northbound 55 because of this work in progress. So they have to go south on 55 to the 61 exit, which is the first exit south of there. Get off at 61, turn around, and come back northbound. So it's really adding time to your commute. And that right lane is pretty much a solid jam the whole way down from 67 to 61 on southbound 55. So just be prepared. And that's the reason for the backup. I just heard police talking about it. I'm not sure if they're going to get down onto 61 and try to help facilitate traffic getting off the highway and back on at that point or not. But they're aware of it. And obviously not much you can do about it until they have the milling work complete in that area. The jam we had earlier, obviously, westbound 70 past Wentzville Parkway, that's gone. They picked up that work, and it looks good. And we had a delay downtown 10 minutes ago on 64 past 3rd Street. It's looking better now, heading for the Poplar. But again, there's restrictions there due to road work in those right lanes. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Don't miss the hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this weekend at the St. Charles Convention Center. Over 25 American-made units on display. Immediate delivery and financing available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny to partly cloudy today. Breezy, hot and humid this afternoon, high 94. AccuWeather real fuel temperatures around 100. The thunderstorm early tonight can produce downpours and damaging wind gusts. Partly cloudy, warm and sticky late tonight, though 77. For tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, breezy, very hot and humid, high 96. Real feels over 100. The record is 98, set at 1933. A severe thunderstorm late tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow night can produce downpours, hail, damaging winds, even an isolated tornado. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have sun downtown and lots of humidity. It's 77 degrees at the Arch.
Your cell phone could be making you vulnerable to identity theft.
So we're seeing a lot more people saying their phone's been hacked, their phone's been compromised.
Eva Velasquez is CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center. In the group's latest report, it finds that unauthorized device access has surpassed scams as the primary threat for adults aged 35 to 64.
And they no longer have control over whatever accounts and information was in that device.
Velasquez tells KMOX consumers need to view their identity like any other financial asset and put measures in place to protect it. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Some ways to protect your identity include verifying the websites you use, using unique passwords for each account, and enabling passkeys for accounts.
Fans are not the only ones watching World Cup activities. Businesses in the Kansas City region are hoping for a win as well. UMKC Assistant Professor of Economics Kabir Bora spoke with our partners in Missouri Net. He says the projected $653 million in economic impact is a tourism formula that is hard to prove. Kansas City is the smallest host city.
And if it's the smallest, we would have expected Kansas City to benefit the most, actually. But maybe we still will. But it's just that the overblown numbers that we see on our screens of 653 million, they are certainly way more exaggerated.
FIFA World Cup matches begin June 16th in Kansas City.
Missouri relaxing its liquor sales hours for the World Cup, extending the sale of alcohol to all hours except 5 to 6 a.m. Will Ballpark Village be open that late or early? Entertainment director Drew Dreyer says while he sees the benefit for host cities like Kansas City,
don't really forecast too much demand in St. Louis after 3 o'clock in the morning. Just, traditional numbers have told us, people aren't going to be sticking around too late. And if they are, probably not the people you want to have out.
Ballpark Village hosting watch parties for all USA and Mexico matches, along with some other select matches.
Sugar Fire Smokehouse is partnering this summer with Jordan Walker. The Cardinals outfielder will have his own limited time menu at all Sugar Fire locations starting today. The Jaywalk Plate features Jordan's favorite Sugar Fire choices, including pulled pork, brisket, jalapeno cheddar sausage, burnt ends, baked beans, and mac and cheese. Additionally, every time Walker hits a home run, Sugar Fire will give away a free pulled pork or turkey sandwich to fans who present a ticket stub from the game.
I would be willing to try the jaywalk plate if they want to send some over. We'll be happy to give them our stamp of approval.
What a deal. I like it. Jordan Walker is getting votes for the All-Star game, and for good reason. He does things like this.
And the first pitch to Walker is hit into left field for a hit. He smoked that ball into the corner, and running it down is Soto, and coming into second base is Walker, and he legs out a double. That was all hustle by Jordan Walker. He drives in J.J. Weatherholt, his 48th RBI of the year, and it's 3-0 Cardinals.
Walker also plays a good outfield. You know who else does? Nathan Church.
And that ball's hit hard and deep to center field. Backing up is Church, and he is looking up. It's over his head, but he catches it. Oh, my goodness. He settled under it and made a Willie Mays basket catch.
He also had 3 hits on the day. Nathan Church activated from the injured list with Victor Scott II option to Memphis, and all Church did was play center field, go 3 for 4, score a run, and the Cardinals put it on the New York Mets last night in Queens.
On the stretch, Peralta's pitch. Burleson gets into this one. He sends it deep to left field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a goner. A home run for Alec Burleson, his 9th of the year, and the Cardinals have a 6-0 lead in the 5th inning here at Citi Field in New York.
The Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. Cardinals piled on. 7-0 was the final in New York last night. The Cardinals had 7 runs on 10 hits, so the offense was alive and well, but the pitching was dynamite. Dustin May went 6 innings. He went scoreless with 4 hits allowed, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. May right now with an ERA of 4.21. He only has 4 wins, but he wasn't getting the run support. Now he does. And Justin Brule has really come alive here. 2 scoreless innings for him. He allowed just a hit, and he struck out 2. Justin Brule, since May 1st, has appeared in 13 games, 10 scoreless appearances, 13 strikeouts, and just 2 walks as the Cardinals get this win 7-0. They watched the Brewers lose late last night. So the Cardinals right now are in second place in the NL Central all by themselves, and they are getting some separation from the rest of the pack. The Brewers lead the Cardinals by 4.5 games. The Pirates and Cubs are 8 back now, and the Reds are 9.5 back. It's only June 10th, but how do the wild card standings look, you ask? Very favorable to the Cardinals. They are the clear leader right now, 3 games in front of the field for the National League wildcard spot. They take 3. The Cardinals lead the Phillies by 1.5 games for the top spot, and then there's a 3-way tie for the 3rd spot between the Diamondbacks, the Padres, and the Nationals. The other NL Central teams are out of that picture at the moment, Pirates, Cubs, and Reds. Stanley Cup Finals. They are headed to Raleigh in a 2-2 series.
Oh, a terrible turnover. Jarvis is stopped by Hart. Oh, my goodness. Now out in front, Stahl. He scores while falling down.
Sean McDonough with the call on ESPN and ABC. Jordan Stahl with a diving goal for the lead. Carolina beats Vegas 5-3, evens the Stanley Cup final at 2 games apiece. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. I know you're getting a lot of information about watch parties for the FIFA World Cup. I'm going to give you one that you will not forget. You ready for this? An ice cold beer in your hand, live music, people hanging out with you, a huge TV to watch, and a brewery tour. Do you know where we are? Yep, you got it. Anheuser-Busch. The beer garden at Anheuser-Busch. There is no better place to do all of those things. The beer is cold. The beer is valuable too. How about $15 Mick Ultra pitchers, $20 Mick Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts, and collectible FIFA cups while supplies last. Visit BudweiserTours.com for the watch parties at FIFA World Cup at the Budweiser Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden. Visit BudweiserTours.com and experience USA Soccer at the Beer Garden. The first one's coming up this Friday at 8 o'clock, USA versus Paraguay.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:20 on this already kind of steamy Wednesday morning. Let's get you traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we got a situation in Maryland Heights we're going to start with. This traffic reports a service of financial and tax strategies. They had a call out for fire crews for a major hazmat situation. Turns out it was an argon gas tank that was leaking. It sounded like it was an outdoor situation at Delta Gases in the 2700 block of 80 Road. The fire crews have said they had transported, just in the last couple of minutes, 2 people to area hospitals. So that's the latest I've heard on that. But I don't believe there are restrictions on 80 Road, but it's really hard for me to tell at this time. But they're just watching the 2700 block over there in Maryland Heights. Southbound 55, there's still no change. Still a jam from 67 down to 61. That's because northbound 67 drivers cannot get onto northbound 55 because of overnight milling work. So that right lane's jammed down to 61 where you have to get off and turn around. Northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack is starting to slow down in that construction zone. Eastbound 30 Mauer to 270 is looking a little busy as well. Other than that, the rest of the highways are moving pretty good for you so far. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
It's a hot one for sure. We're looking at a temperature today of 94 with real feels around 100. Sunny to partly cloudy skies, breezy. Thunderstorm around early tonight. It'll produce flooding downpours possibly and localized damaging wind gusts. Low just 77 overnight. Is the thunderstorm going to cool things off? No. Hot and humid tomorrow, high 96, real feels over 100. Currently, it's 77 downtown.
The St. Louis Aldermanic HUD's Committee advanced a bill allocating how much of the RAM settlement money should go to tornado-ravaged North St. Louis. There were a handful of supporters, mainly businesses, wanting the $55 million slated for downtown to stay downtown.
You should raise the funds to $150 million. Commit political suicide if you have to. The people behind you will support you. Make the right choice. Always stand with the people because they literally vote you into power.
Always been a city person all my life, so I just hope that whatever you guys do, it ain't a white thing, it ain't a black thing. It's a right thing and it's a wrong thing. And it's up to us to do the right thing. And that's all I got to say.
But it didn't go the people's way. They wanted more than the already allocated $110 million to help with tornado recovery. They pushed for the $55 million going to downtown to also be added to helping North St. Louis. One small business owner in North City, affected by the tornado, explained about a dilemma not many people might know about.
Those of you who don't know, and I'm sure most do know, that to be in business in St. Louis, you pay a higher tax than people who are residents only. But they weren't even offered an opportunity by the city to receive some kind of tax assistance, even if they lost parts or all of their properties.
But the Aldermanic HUD's Committee, along with Aldermanic Board President Megan Green, touted the $110 million plus from the RAM settlement money was going to tornado recovery and some to the city's water division.
None of us get 100% of what we want, but we get to a place where we can all move forward. And that is to me, the number one, besides getting funds that are out in the when this bill, what we've been able to do is set up various funds to make sure that we can leverage other resources, and not just for the downtown fund. This allows us to go after additional state and federal money. I hope that our corporate and philanthropic community steps up in the way that we need them to step up for the side. But we have taken, I think, strides here, and I appreciate the work, the hard work that this committee has had to have, that the really difficult conversations that have had to take place. And I also appreciate that advocates and activists here. I mean, I spent countless hours. We are passing a bill today that puts tornado recovery as our number one. We are passing a bill today that prioritizes our water and we are passing a bill today that, yes, does provide some funds for downtown in the order that they were in the community feedback that we have gotten, with the bulk of resources going to the folks in our community that we know it most.
When I saw how hard the tornado hit North City, my heart broke because I knew you all weren't going to do your jobs. And do you know what happens when someone can't do their job? They get fired.
I think pretty much everybody on your committee, the more progressive side of the aldermen, but they're really upset, and they're saying they're going to vote everybody out of office. How do you get past that now?
I continue to keep my head high and continue to do the work. I get the frustration. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of frustration of what has happened in the tornado area. I get it because my ward is impacted by it. So at the end of the day, I just continue to lead with action, and I continue to try to get as much possible. The reality is, if we always got everything we want, I would be the president of the United States, but that's just not the case. It's a lot of negotiation. There's alders all across the city, from south side to north side to the central west end, that you have to figure out how we all work together. So I get their frustration. I get their anger. And what I'll continue to do is lead by being a leader and make leaders take tough decisions.
We know this is nowhere near the amount of money for tornado recovery. Where do you go from here? Where do you get the rest of the money? There's so many people that are affected.
Yeah, hopefully these funds, ideally, I think people think once we pass a bill that money is going to go out the door. And get it. Government is slow, and government's going to be slow during this process. So things aren't going to happen overnight. There's going to be some time that, hopefully these monies and dollars get interest, that we actually can use more of that. We have great allies on the state level that are fighting to make sure that there is millions of dollars that has already been appropriated from the state level that we still haven't tapped into, that we could hopefully be able to tap into with rebuilding. So, between the state and the interest level, I don't think this is the end. I think this is, it's going to be an ongoing progress of how we figure out, how do we get more money from the state? How do we use the interest money that we get? How do we work with our federal government and federal partners to actually bring more money down? It's not going to be easy work, but it's going to be necessary work that we have to do to get across the finish line.
The bill now goes before the full board of aldermen. Aldridge expects it to pass. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It's 6:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. The people around here are hardworking people, just like you. And when someone in your family gets hurt in a car wreck, everything can change very fast. That's why having a local lawyer matters. At Cantor Injury Law, we know these towns, these roads, and the people who drive them every day. When you call us, you're calling a local team with boots on the ground, ready to fight for you. You can count on Cantor.
CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Looking for something new? Lombardo Homes is excited to introduce 2 brand new opportunities in St. Charles County. Discover Crooked Creek at Cottleville Trails, featuring stylish new townhomes from the high 300s and access to incredible amenities that make Cottleville Trails one of the area's most sought-after communities. Or find the space you've been dreaming of at South Point Estates, where expansive 3+ acre home sites and top-rated Wentzville schools create the perfect perfect setting for your custom dream home. Visit LombardoHomes.com to learn more about these exciting new communities.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got bright sunshine, 76 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, again, if you're traveling up northbound on 67 and wanting to go on to northbound 55, overnight work has you being diverted onto southbound 55 because the ramp to northbound is closed while they do this milling work. And so southbound 55 is still jammed from 67 down to 61, primarily in the right lane, obviously, as everybody's getting off at 61 and turning around. And now there's a crash northbound 55 about midway up from 61 to 67. So there's a jam going northbound as well. So it's really adding a lot of time to your commute. Plan accordingly. If you're in that Festus area, need to go north on 55 from 67. Northbound 55, once you get past that crash scene, it's just slow north of Richardson, headed up to 141 to the Merrimack and Arnold. Northbound 270, a little bit of volume as you approach 64. Southbound 61 crossing over onto 64 or 70. The ramp, the overpass there is a little busy. And we're back to seeing some heavy traffic now. Westbound 64 from the 70 split through 3rd Street, back up there. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be hot today and tomorrow. Today, 94. Tomorrow, 96. Both days, it's going to feel like it's over 100 degrees. We do have a thunderstorm around early tonight. It could be a strong one with lots of rain, but it's not going to cool things down. Then a severe thunderstorm moving through tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night will cool things down. By Friday and Saturday, we'll be in the mid-80s. It's 76 right now.
The food hall concept is coming to downtown St. Louis.
Oliver, CEO of Oliver Properties, tells KMOX's Total Information AM, Wash Ave Food Hall is designed for gathering.
Sit-down restaurants really fill up pretty quickly. Some of the bars and spaces fill up pretty quickly. And a lot of them don't have like that activity space of like, okay, if people are here for visitors and tourists and conferences or residents who live down here.
Oliver says the food hall includes an outdoor space with a retractable roof. When it opens in October, it will feature 6 local full kitchen vendors plus 2 bars and other dessert and snack vendors. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Federal health regulators have signed off on the first new sunscreen ingredient for the U.S. market in more than 20 years.
It's called bimotrizanol, but it will initially be sold in the U.S. under the brand name Parcel Shield. It's been used safely in Europe for decades. The AP's Lisa Dwyer.
The FDA says the chemical, bimotrizanol, meets the agency's standards for protecting from dangerous sun rays while causing little irritation.
Experts say the product will fill an important segment in the U.S. market, protecting against ultraviolet A and B rays while not leaving white streaks associated with mineral-based sunscreens. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Javon Mallory really wanted the promotion at McAllister's Deli in Bridgeton. When it went to his coworker instead, Mallory tried to kill her. According to police documents, the 31-year-old told police he would have killed her too if their general manager hadn't intervened. That GM walked into a back office to find Mallory strangling the woman and wrestling her to the floor until she went limp. According to the Post-Dispatch, Mallory is charged with first-degree assault and first-degree burglary.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute is on the way. It's 6:34.
Before a nation, there was an idea. Before freedom, there was a sacrifice. This year, KMOX marks America's 250th birthday. Step into history with John Hancock and Michael Kelly, Sunday mornings at 8, as they pull you into the moment where everything was on the line. This is the sound of a nation being born. Celebrate America, 250 years strong, with Hancock and Kelly, Sunday mornings at 8, only on KMOX.
Santana, Oneness Tour 2026. The power, the energy. Come celebrate your favorite hits from Woodstock to Supernatural and beyond. With very special guest, the Doobie Brothers. Saturday, June 20th, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. On sale now at livenation.com. Santana and Doobie Brothers, Oneness Tour 2026.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
636, your Money Minute, sponsored by Eamon Gander and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. A major coffee seller is planning to lower prices next year. J.M. Smucker expects sales to decline as much as 4% when it reduces prices. Some of their brands include Folgers, Dunkin', and Cafe Bustelo. Arabica coffee futures are down about 45% from last year's record high. Checking on your money, technology shares are pulling stocks lower this morning. The focus today is on inflation. Later this morning, consumer price data for May will be released. Ahead of that, S&P futures are down 64 points. Dow futures falling 365. And more Americans are on the move. Existing home sales rising to the highest level since December. According to the National Association of Realtors, closings rose 3.2% last month, topping Wall Street expectations. The figures point to some thawing in the nation's home resale market. Although mortgage rates have risen recently to top 6.5%, they remain below levels a year ago. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today.
Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today,
the Cards, the Mets.
Ackerman Total Access 515. First pitch 610.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:40 and time for traffic and weather. Roger Brand has the very latest for you. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Where are the problems right now, Roger?
Well, 55 down south is still an issue, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Choruses of Harmony STL. They still have a jam both ways. Now, it looks like they have reopened that ramp northbound 67 getting onto North 55, so that overnight road work just got wrapped up, so that's good news. But like I said, we're still jammed both ways between 67 and 61. Folks were having to go southbound to 61 to turn around, so there's still a jam, at least in the right lane because of that. And then northbound, about midway up between those two, there was a crash. So like I said, jam both ways through there. Once you get past that point on North 55, it's still a little slow, approaching 141 to the Merrimack. Northbound 270, a little slow, past Tesson Ferry, Doherty Ferry to Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue. Out west, southbound 61. Starting to slow down Wentzville Parkway down to the ramp, getting onto eastbound Highway 70. And on the Illinois side, we've got the roadwork delays on 64 westbound at Ball Avenue and 5570 at Exchange onto 64 at 3rd Street. Want to talk about your USPS Ground Advantage reliable route? If you stick with those right lanes and just get on to westbound 70 across the Musewell Veterans Bridge, you'll save yourself a bit of a headache sitting in that 64 traffic, which right now it's slow, but it'll get worse. Next update is 6:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Harmony STL presents Now Playing, featuring the ambassadors of Harmony, Visions of Harmony, the Recruits, and Fleet Street performing the hits that shaped generations. Saturday, June 13th, 2 p.m., Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets at harmonystl.com.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Today's a pool day. There's no doubt about
absolutely.
that.
I was going to say, you ready to sweat? Oh, it's going to be miserable. It's already miserable this morning. Temperature starting out in the upper 70s to near 80. Sunshine will blaze away. There'll be some clouds that'll mix in too. The breeze picks up, but it's just going to be hot and steamy. 94 AccuWeather real field temperatures near 100. Now, early tonight, a thunderstorm will wander in from the north and west. And if we get one, there's every reason to believe there could be some downpours and damaging winds associated with it before they fall apart going to our south and east. And warm and sticky late tonight, those 77. Another day of heat and humidity tomorrow with sun and clouds and a high of 96. The record is 98 from 1933. But later in the afternoon and evening, thunderstorms will come through. Those are almost certain to be severe. Hail, damaging winds, a threat for tornadoes and downpours, of course. And then behind them, we get relief. Sunshine returns for Friday, but much lower humidity. Cooler too, only 86. Mid-80s on Saturday with clouds and sun. More clouds Sunday. There could be a shower with thunderstorm, the high in the upper 70s. Right now, it's already in the upper 70s, 76 at St. Peter's, 79 at Florissant, some sunshine, and 79 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
In Florida, a shark encounter at a popular beach. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
The victim, in his late 20s, suffered serious injuries to his arms. He was rushed into surgery and remains in critical condition. A colleague swimming with him was not hurt.
Prediction markets are moving ahead with new safeguards aimed at preventing insider trading and avoiding tougher government oversight.
Prediction market Kalshi says it's adding new security measures designed to keep insiders from betting on information the public does not have. The company says some users will have to verify where they work before they can place wagers on events tied to corporate performance or national security. Kalshi says the goal is to identify people with access to confidential information and block them from trading. The move comes as prediction markets face growing scrutiny from lawmakers who argue the platforms create opportunities for insider trading. Dave Packer, ABC News.
New York implementing a law requiring advertisements featuring AI-generated people to clearly label them as synthetic performers. The law, signed by Governor Kathy Hochul in December, took effect yesterday. Her office describes it as a first-in-the-nation law aimed at enhancing transparency as AI performers become more common in media. Ads that fail to disclose synthetic performers will now face penalties. This move is part of a broader effort to address AI-related job security and privacy concerns. The law goes into effect despite larger pushback from the Trump administration, which has tried to block states from regulating AI.
It's 6:45. Who's Hot, Who's Not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. For Who's Hot, Who's Not, we go back to the transaction the Cardinals made official yesterday afternoon. Victor Scott II hitting 194. Option to AAA Memphis. Nathan Church, coming off the IL, hit a home run on Sunday afternoon in his final rehab assignment with Memphis. And manager Ollie Marmol visiting with us. His first comment on it on the Gas House Gang.
That was a tough conversation, man, with Vic. It really was. This is a guy I don't have to tell you guys, he's a hard worker. He's going to do everything you ask him to do. And it just wasn't translating at this level at the moment. There's certain adjustments he has to make. There's a certain way he's being pitched that made it really, really tough on him. It's not because of a lack of effort, determination, or work. He's going to go down to AAA. He's going to put his head down. And he's going to do everything possible to get back up here. But in the meantime, Church is ready to go, and I'm excited to have him in the lineup.
And we can see why. Church jumps right into it in the fourth inning, playing center field.
And that ball's hit hard and deep to center field. Backing up is Church, and he is looking up. It's over his head, but he catches it. Oh, my goodness. He settled under it and made a Willie Mays basket catch.
And then there's Alec Burleson.
From the stretch, Peralta's pitch. Burleson gets into this one. He sends it deep to left field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a gunner. A home run for Alec Burleson, his 9th of the year. And the Cardinals have a 6-0 lead in the 5th inning here at Citi Field in New York.
Alec Burleson had a big day again. 2 for 5, 3 RBIs, and a run scored. He's hitting 293 now, creeping up on 300 as Burleson delivered home run number 9 and RBIs number 44, 45, and 46. I'll tell you what, might want to start talking about Burley as an all-star candidate. Just saying. Jordan Walker certainly is one. He had a hit. He's hitting 301. Ivan Herrera had 3 hits and scored 3 runs. And then there's Nathan Church, who, as I mentioned, was activated, and all he did was make that basket catch, go 3 for 4, score a run in the number 9 spot in the order. Dustin May, 6 scoreless. Justin Brule, 2 scoreless. Matt Swanson finishes it off. The Cardinals beat the Mets 7-0 to Danny Wexelman with Nathan Church.
Thank you so much. Hey, you got a big smile on your face right now. What's going on in that head?
It was a good win. I mean, 7-0. Pitchers did a great job. Offense did great. We made a lot of good plays on defense. It was a good game.
Hey, your basket catch, I want to walk through it because you turned your head twice. Obviously, maybe not what you were hoping to do, but walk us through that play.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 outs. It's really windy here. Jay said it's super windy, kind of like tunnels and spins around. So, yeah, when I went back, it was like snaking. So I basically, just ran to the wall, basket caught, and it was a good play.
Did you surprise yourself?
It was just super windy. I was just trying to catch the ball.
And Dustin May gave you a big hug. What does that mean?
He did a great job tonight. I mean, we got 0 runs on the board for defense. He did a hell of a good game.
And how good does it feel to be back?
It feels amazing. Amazing to be back.
Hey, as the originator of the bark, can I get some?
Nathan Church and the Cardinals, they are barking their way to a 7-0 win. And now looking at game 2 of this series, a 6-10 start on KMOX. Cardinals are in second place in the NL Central, 4.5 behind the Brewers, who lost yesterday. And they are way ahead of the Cubs, Pirates, and Reds at this point. The Cubs and Pirates are 8 games back, with the Reds sitting in the division in last place, 2 games under 500, 9.5 back, even with their win last night. A win for the Carolina Hurricanes, 5-3 over the Vegas Golden Knights. That happened in the Stanley Cup final to even the series at 2 games apiece. Let me tell you about St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. Gardens need compost, and St. Louis Composting can help you with that or any of your landscaping needs. You need new soil for your top off your garden or lawn. You got to have that 5% soil, and I'll explain. You see, we have, as you see, a lot of heat in St. Louis. And when things start to heat up around St. Louis, that can really be a problem for your lawn. Lawns need organic matter. Soil with 5% or more is the gold standard. It creates better structure. It locks in nutrients. It dramatically improves water retention. Soil tests are easy to do. We all felt that brutal Missouri drought. Top dressing makes your lawn significantly more drought resistant, a healthier yard, and a lower water bill this year. Go to stlcompost.com, stlcompost.com, St. Louis Composting, 9 retail locations. They can deliver mulch, topsoil, or compost right to your home as well. stlcompost.com.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Ooh, it's 6:51. It's hot out there now. It's a little humid, actually, but not hot, but it's going to get there. We'll have details right after we check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have traffic backed up both directions on 55, basically between 67 and 61. Not the entirety of that stretch, but a good chunk of it both ways. Southbound was diverted traffic from overnight roadwork. Northbound, there was a crash in the area. So it's still, again, bumper to bumper both ways there on 55. If you're northbound 55, once you get past that, you're in good shape. Northbound 270, passing Tesson Ferry through Sappington's a little slow. Doherty Ferry to Manchester, Clayton Road up through to Ladue. Southbound 61 from Highway P now down to 64 or 70. If you get on 70, that ramp's backed up. 70 is kind of slow at Lake St. Louis and at TR Hughes. South 170, seeing some slow traffic at U Club Tower down to 64. And, of course, on the Illinois side, the roadwork jam is there. Westbound 64 west of 25th Street and 5570 west of 203 onto 64 through 3rd Street due to the roadwork in those right lanes. And an update from Maryland Heights Police a couple of minutes ago. 80 Road is closed between Ball and Chutes until they get that hazmat, that gas leak situation wrapped up. Next update is 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Yeah, it's a hot one, all right. We're going to get a high of 94 today. AccuWeather real feels around 100. Partly cloudy, breezy, hot and humid this afternoon. Thunderstorm around early tonight. Can produce flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts. Partly cloudy, warm and sticky late tonight, low just 77. Then tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, breezy, hot and humid, a high of 96 with real feels over 100 for Thursday. Currently, it's sunny and 77 downtown.
AC units will be working hard this week with temperatures in the upper 90s, raising concerns over high energy bills.
Tara Oglesby, Vice President of Ameren, says if you are struggling to pay your electric bill and worried about it rising due to the heat, reach out.
Don't hesitate to reach out to cooldownstlouis.org or to ameren.com. There are resources available for people in a variety of financial situations.
She adds they recommend against turning off your air conditioners when temperatures are as high as they are this week. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Just last week, President Trump announced extra tariffs of 10% after the Supreme Court ruled against his last round of global tariffs. All that volatility, uncertainty makes it hard for companies to plan. Panos Kouvelis, a Washington University professor of supply chain operations and technology, says it's changing the way many companies operate.
Offshore locations are very far away with very long supply chains, might not be serving us very well. So it's time for us to start thinking about having regional networks closer to the markets.
He says tariff volatility isn't a customs management issue, but a planning problem of the supply chain. Kouvelis was a Freight Week STL speaker for the St. Louis Regional Freightway.
The mayor of Arlington Heights, Illinois, does not expect a special legislative session to revive the effort to get a Bears stadium built there. He points to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, at least in part, for derailing the effort.
Mayor Jim Tenalia said Mayor Johnson jumping in very late in the game, convincing Chicago lawmakers not to back a move to Arlington Heights was nonsense.
So those lawmakers and Mayor Johnson have what they've accomplished by this nonsense is, instead of saying, okay, good, the Bears are going to still be Illinois, the choice is instead, we'll let them go to Indiana.
Tenalia used the word disappointing numerous times. The Bears were left with no choice, he said. They wanted Arlington Heights, not Chicago, where there was no plan, and Illinois lawmakers handed them Indiana.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored for you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday wishes going out to Kathy Lawson from the Church Chicks. Also, we've got a happy 31st anniversary to Jackie and Don Beadle of Columbia, Illinois. Happy 4th, Alex Hill from AJ. Happy 95th, Aunt Katie from The Blessings. And happy birthday wishes to Karen Schindler.
This is the best birthday ever.
All right, let's just talk about your eyes for a second. Here we are in summer, and maybe you're rubbing your eyes a lot. It could be allergic conjunctivitis, something to be aware of, because there's so many things that could be happening with your eyes, and you wouldn't know unless you go see a professional. If you haven't had your eyes checked in a while, I highly recommend an appointment with Ophthalmology Associates. Ophthalmology Associates, the doctors, they are experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eyes. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer. YourEyeDoc.com is where to find them online. Now, yes, you want to read the eye chart. That is important. But if that's all you've been doing over the years, definitely time to call Ophthalmology Associates, because addressing these issues early is the best way to make sure that your eyesight stays on point. Cataracts, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, allergic conjunctivitis, dry eye, and so much more. And yes, they do LASIK surgery as well. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000.
Don't miss a hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the St. Charles Convention Center in the North Hall. Choose from over 25 American-made units on display. See hot tubs, swim spas, and cold tubs all ready for immediate delivery. Save up to 50% on MSRP. Financing is available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE. That's 1-800-SPA-SALE.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Skin Cancer Awareness this summertime, and we're joined by Dr. Aubriana McAvoy, a WashU medicine surgeon at Siteman Cancer Center.
I always tell patients that sun protection doesn't mean you have to avoid enjoying summer. It's really about being smart and consistent with sun protection. The basics are staying in the shade, especially between those really peak hours of sunlight, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They make great sun protective clothing now, like shirts, wide brim hats, sunglasses, and using sunscreen regularly. My favorite sunscreen is the one that you like to wear. We generally recommend SPF 30 or higher, and they have mineral-based sunscreens with zinc oxide and titanium dioxide that are great for people with sensitive skin and young kids.
For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're better, but there's still some slow traffic, Debbie, on 55 between 67 and 61, but it's no longer jammed. North 270 busy approaching Tesson Ferry and then Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladue. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 jammed approaching 25th Street through 3rd Street. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I'm Maria Kina.
Alderman Browning.
Aye.
A marathon, often contentious hearing on Ram settlement money before the Aldermanic HUD's Committee.
I'm Sean Malone. The price of gas is starting to dip, but is it down enough? Coming up, I talked to St. Louis residents to get their thoughts.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. The first new sunscreen ingredient for the U.S. market in more than 20 years gets the okay from the FDA. That story is coming up.
This is AccuWeather with meteorologist Joe Lundberg. More sun than clouds today, becoming breezy, hot, and humid with a high of 94.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. In a post this morning, President Trump says Iran is, quote, taking too long to negotiate a deal, and that now, in his words, they will have to pay the price. This comes after stepped-up attacks on both sides following an Iranian drone strike that knocked down an American Apache helicopter. Both the pilots rescued by a Navy surface drone. ABC's Martha Raddatz.
The drone boats find the pilots. The pilots may have been in communication with encrypted radio. The pilots climb on to this unmanned boat, and they are whisked away to another location. And at that next location, in the water, of course, U.S. helicopter hovers over that unmanned boat and hoists these pilots into the helicopter and off to safety.
A Texas 19-year-old sentenced to 35 years in prison after being convicted of killing another high school track athlete in a fight at a track meet in a Dallas suburb. This is ABC News. Prediction markets are moving ahead with new safeguards aimed at preventing insider trading and avoiding tougher government oversight.
Prediction market Kalshi says it's adding new security measures designed to keep insiders from betting on information the public does not have. The company says some users will have to verify where they work before they can place wagers on events tied to corporate performance or national security. Kalshi says the goal is to identify people with access to confidential information and block them from trading. The move comes as prediction markets face growing scrutiny from lawmakers who argue the platforms create opportunities for insider trading. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Among those accused of insider trading, a soldier who allegedly made $400,000 by using classified information about the capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, and former Congressman George Santos, who is said to have made thousands for a prediction about whether he himself would be attending the State of the Union address. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02. It is sunny and a little bit breezy. 78 degrees right now downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
What will your future family members say? That downtown interest meant more than people?
Just one of dozens of community members speaking out before the St. Louis Aldermanic HUD's Committee on how Ram settlement money should be spent.
$110 million had been allocated, but a majority of the people wanted the $55 million going to downtown to also go to North St. Louis.
It's not that people don't care at all about downtown. We're downtown right now. People have to come downtown. We come to games. We come to concerts too. But we're in a moment, a year out from the worst natural disaster we have seen, the people who are living today have seen in our lifetimes in this city. And the last thing I'll ask is, what does it mean that the few people we heard from in favor of downtown were mostly remote? They're literally not here. They're not here. And you've heard people talk.
But when it was all said and done,
President Green. Aye. 7 aye votes. Thank you. All right.
the committee did allocate another $10 million to North St. Louis. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge.
So there's a lot of other critical needs, such as, water infrastructure that is aging and old, that, we have water rates we have to increase because of just how old it is.
Aldridge is hopeful, though, that there will be additional money coming from the state to help rebuild a community that is nowhere near recovered from last year's tornado. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis County officially naming a new police chief, Colonel Juan Cox. He is the department's 11th chief. Board of Police Commissioners members laid out how they reached their decision. Here's Commissioner Brian Ashworth.
We were very much prepared to go outside through the interview process, through the review of their experience. We felt very comfortable that these were the best two candidates, and within that current Chief Cox was the better of the candidates.
Cox was asked about the challenges he's facing as he takes over the department.
Some of the issues is always are, as you guys are well aware of, pending litigation, things of that nature that transpired years before me being appointed chief. But we have tried to make some corrections, and hey, we admit that, hey, we may have done some things wrong or that we could do better.
Cox was chosen over one other finalist, Lieutenant Colonel Mann, and was sworn in just minutes before the announcement.
Federal health regulators have signed off on the first new sunscreen ingredient for the U.S. market in more than 20 years.
The FDA says the chemical called bimotrizonol meets the agency's standards for protecting from dangerous sun rays while causing little irritation. The AP's Lisa Dwyer says it's been used safely in Europe for decades.
Experts say bimotrizonol will fill an important niche in the U.S. market, protecting against both ultraviolet A and B rays, while not leaving white streaks associated with mineral-based sunscreens. It will initially be sold in the U.S. under the brand name Parsol Shield.
The FDA considers bimotrizonol to be generally recognized as safe and effective for use in sunscreens by adults and children 6 months of age and older. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
How safe are larger commercial vehicles? Jeff Gilbert has more from Detroit.
We're about to find out as the heavy-duty pickups and commercial vans often aren't rated for safety like passenger vehicles are. David Kidd of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety says they're going to start rating commercial vehicles, something he sees as very important for safety.
These vehicles are used for a lot of different vocations. And one of the key things is they may not be subject to the similar type of safety standards that we in our personal vehicles have.
The first test showed in general the commercial vehicles did well, but one issue was the lack of warning aimed at getting occupants to buckle their seatbelts.
The price of gas is coming down, but not fast enough, according to St. Louisans. The uncertainty isn't helping.
We ain't got a lot of money out here, so not fast enough.
What they need to do, they need to slow the down and keep it on pause. But take back to at least $2 and we cool. You know what I'm saying? Make my checks work for me going to work for.
You mentioned pausing. We're hearing different things every day. We're close to a deal. Bombing's about to start back up. Is that hurting you guys trying to figure out your budget of what can I spend if gas is going to be up or down any day?
They just keep lying to us, man. That's it. That's all we know.
The war in Iran, there's some mixed messaging out, whether it seems like every day we're close to a deal and then the next day we're going to be bombing them again. Does that hurt in terms of trying to figure out your budget moving forward that we don't seem to really know when this is going to end?
Yeah, I hate the not knowing. And not knowing what to do. Because what can we do? If we don't know anything, without any information, we wouldn't know how to possibly move forward or what we can do to figure things out for the long run. So you can't plan if you don't know.
We'll check and see how the cars are doing this morning out on the roadways with Roger Brand. Traffic and weather next at 7:07.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss. Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
All right, let's check the roadways and the weather as well. There is relief from the heat coming. We just have to bear the next day or two. So more details coming up. But right now, how does your ride-in look? Roger Brand has more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got some jam traffic on 64, Debbie. On the Illinois side, of course, it's that road work past 3rd Street that has those right lanes restricted, and westbound 64 is jammed back pretty close to 25th Street to that point. Westbound 5570, slow west of 203 through Exchange into that area. There's also a minor crash reported there. There's an injury crash on the Missouri side, westbound 64, right near Boyle, lane blockage, and there's a jam at Grand on westbound 64, getting by that one. Out to the west, southbound 61, a couple of slow spots south of P down to 64 or 70. It's not that bad, just slow traffic through there. Once you get on to 64 or 70, you're great coming out of Wentzville. Northbound 55, you've got slow traffic north of A up to McNutt, and it's a little heavy approaching 141 to the Merrimack. After that, you're in the clear. The southbound backup between 67 and 61 is dissipated. And northbound 270, north of Big Bend all the way up to Ladue is slow. We still have restrictions, I believe, over in Marin Heights. 80 between Ball and Chutes shut down due to a major gas leak that occurred earlier this morning. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny to partly cloudy today, breezy, hot and humid this afternoon, high 94. AccuWeather real fuel temperatures around 100. The thunderstorm early tonight can produce downpours and damaging wind gusts. Partly cloudy, warm and sticky late tonight, though 77. For tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, breezy, very hot and humid, high 96. Real feels over 100. The record is 98, set at 1933. A severe thunderstorm late tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow night can produce downpours, hail, damaging winds, even an isolated tornado. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Temperature climbing. It's sunny and 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. Humidity 81%.
Whew. I believe it. And it's probably going to get worse. So anyway, it is 7:12, and we've been telling you about those invasive screwworms. Ew. Well, here's another invasive worm that has been reported in a county park in St. Louis, Missouri, and is reportedly hard to kill.
It's the hammerhead worm, and Parks and Rec says it's been seen at Cliff Cave. These thin, ribbon-like long worms have a head similar to a hammerhead shark. They reproduce via fragmentation. So when they're cut up, each part grows back into a new worm within about 10 days. These worms are a concern because they decimate local earthworm populations. Don't touch them with bare hands. The mucus will irritate your skin and eyes. The only way to kill them is to put them in a bag and fill it with rubbing alcohol or salt and vinegar and freeze it. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
The mayor of Hammond, Indiana, is sounding pretty confident that the Bears are moving to his city. Not just confident, but certain. Here is Mike Krauser with the latest.
Bears are coming to Hammond, Indiana. Okay, I want you to know that.
Mayor Thomas McDermott Jr., speaking during a meeting of the city council, said the vague wording of the Bears' announcement that the board of directors voted to advance a stadium project in Hammond with the exact site to be selected was intentionally vague, and he was vague himself, saying, "I know why it was vague. I can't talk about that right now."
It's vague for a lot of complex reasons. The Bears are working on Hammond right now. I'm happy to see what the Bears are putting into our city right now. We're going to be the home stadium.
The St. Louis City Board of Police Commissioners' appeal of a ruling over their funding levels didn't get very far. Both the appeals court and the Missouri Supreme Court have denied their appeal, with the state-appointed board arguing that the Rams settlement money and other city reserves should be counted as general revenue and included in the calculation of how large the police department's budget should be. Last week, St. Louis Circuit Judge ruled otherwise. While the appeals court denied the board, the Missouri Supreme Court said the appeal wasn't filed properly. In a statement, board attorney Chris Granville says they do plan to refile.
Ballpark Village is hosting watch parties for all USA and Mexico World Cup matches, along with select others. Their first watch party is Mexico's Thursday afternoon match against South Africa. Entertainment director Drew Dreyer says they're teaming up with City SC superfans for their first party.
We have the Santos coming out, the Hispanic supporter group for STL City SC, bringing their drums, mats, capes, all the fun stuff to really support Mexico.
If you want a table, make a reservation now. However, there is standing room only space available. Next door to Ballpark Village is Busch Stadium, and the Cardinals are playing some ball right now in New York. They took on the Mets last night. Let's get to our cut of the game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Already with a 3-0 lead, and then it was 4-0. It was a runner on for Alec Burleson.
On the stretch, Peralta's pitch. Burleson gets into this one. He sends it deep to left field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a gunner. A home run for Alec Burleson, his 9th of the year, and the Cardinals have a 6-0 lead in the 5th inning here at Citi Field in New York.
With Ricky Orton, I'm John Rooney. Last night at Citi Field, the Cardinals out-hit the Mets 10-5, scoring 4 runs in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, winning 7-0.
Dustin May was outstanding in his 6 innings of work. He gave way to Justin Brule and then Matt Swanson, who also put up zeros. Only 5 hits for the Mets. The Cardinals also played really good defense. They turned a double play or two and really just did a lot of things well offensively, getting 4 runs early.
And beat Freddie Peralta, who in recent years have been really tough on Cardinal hitters.
He's been tough on everybody, and the Cardinals had a lot of good at-bats against him. His command was not what we're used to seeing from Freddie Peralta.
Ivan Herrera was on base 5 times, 3 hits, including a double, 3 runs scored. He was hit by 2 pitches.
He's going to try to catch Ron Hunt.
I guess he is. And the Cardinals try to make it 2 in a row over the Mets and 6 in a row in the win column behind Andre Palante on the air at 5:15 Central.
Let's hear from manager Ollie Marmol.
Well, let's start with Dustin May. That was awesome.
Yeah, May did a really nice job. He's been locked in and he's on the attack. Had everything working. Sweeper was a really good pitch for him. Cutter was a good pitch for him. Was on the attack. Used both sides of the plate up and down with the fastball. And, he was dominant.
You talked before the game about the 6th and 7th innings being important in this series with a big lead. You got 2 scoreless innings out of Brule, who's on a nice roll himself.
No doubt. That was really good to see. He spun it well today, and they have a lot of lefties in there, navigated the lefties and righties well, gave us 2, and was really efficient, so he'll be available the rest of the series.
Offense. First time Ivan Herrera's gotten on base 5 times in a game. JJ with 2 RBIs, Burley with 3.
We swung it well. 1 through 9 did a really nice job, and it was good to see Churchy back in the lineup. He gets you 3 knocks at the bottom there in the 9 hole. The top was good. JJ drives in 2. Burley with the homer. Walker swung the bat well. Even the line out to center was really, really good. So up and down the lineup, it was just some really tough at bats.
And a really nice approach against a guy that's been tough on the Cardinals, Freddie Peralta, a guy you all know very well.
He's a good arm. He does a really nice job. He's been tough against us. We had a good approach, and we're able to come up on top today.
Thank you, Chip Carey, for that interview. The Cardinals are 4.5 games out in the NL Central. They have second place all to themselves. Brewers lost last night to the A's, so the Cardinals are 4.5 out in the division. The Pirates and Cubs are 8 back at this point, and the Reds are 9.5 back. Cards and Mets tonight on KMOX at 6:10. To the Stanley Cup final we go, Las Vegas.
Oh, a terrible turnover. Jarvis is stopped by Hart. Oh, my goodness. Now out in front, Stahl. He scores while falling down.
Sean McDonough with the call on ABC and ESPN. Jordan Stahl with a diving goal for the lead, and Carolina wins in Las Vegas 5-3 last night. They evened that series at 2 games apiece. Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight. The Knicks up 2-1 on the Spurs. 7:30 tip-off at Madison Square Garden. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress, but one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LandStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, let's get you a check of the roadways as you're heading out the door on your way to work or whatever you're doing today. And also the weather, because you do need to be prepared. Please stay hydrated today, and caffeinated beverages and alcohol don't count. Just saying. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got this crash downtown, Debbie, on westbound Highway 64. It's westbound 64 before you get to Boyle. Only the left lane is open. Traffic's jammed almost back to Jefferson. And so fire crews were dispatched to this while they were on the scene. They called out another additional, at least ambulance or two to respond. They said it was an accident involving a fire department vehicle. So they responded for the crash. Someone may have run into one of the fire department vehicles that was on the scene of the original crash. So a couple of situations there, but the end result is only left lane's open, jammed from Jefferson to Boyle. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 slow approaching 159. Again, Ball Avenue to 3rd Street, and 5570 is a solid jam from 203 merging onto that westbound 64 traffic in that work zone at 3rd Street. Northbound 55, there's slow traffic right around north of A up through McNutt, approaching 141 to the Merrimack, ramping onto North 270. North 270, Tesson Ferry to Gravois, Big Bend all the way up to Ladue is busy, and southbound 61 Wentzville Parkway into 64 through Prospect is a little slow. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
A hot one today for sure, and tomorrow we're going to be sunny to partly cloudy today, breezy, hot and humid, high 94, feels like 100 or more. Thunderstorm around early tonight. Partly cloudy, warm and sticky, low just 77. That's right. It's not going to cool things off. It's just going to make things feel more humid. Tomorrow, very hot and humid, high 96. We do cool off after a severe thunderstorm late Thursday afternoon and early Thursday night. Friday, cooler, much less humid, a high of 86. It's going to feel like fall compared to this. Right now, it is sunny and 78 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:23. Have you seen them? Have you noticed? Firefly season is here.
It's one of summer's simplest joys, watching fireflies light up the night and trying to catch them in a jar. This year, many families say they're seeing more flickers than usual. Professor of entomology at Purdue University, Christian Krupke, says the reason could be rooted in the weather.
We got timely rains, and as you probably know, we've been in drought, in various levels of drought for years on and off. Fireflies like moisture and moist soil, so they're not a species that likes the dry conditions.
A mild winter and wet spring helped larvae thrive underground, a critical phase in the firefly life cycle.
We saw a lot of fireflies that were mating and laying eggs. So we should have a large population of larvae going into overwintering. We'll see how they do coming through winter and see what the next summer brings.
Fireflies need healthy soil and a strong food chain to survive.
When you don't have that, those things start dying and doing not as well. Therefore, their predators, fireflies, also start dying and doing not as well.
Even with a glowing summer, Krupke says one good year doesn't necessarily mean the species is making a comeback.
Whether that's an indication that the populations are rebounding, I wouldn't go that far, because the trends long term are a decline.
But there are small steps homeowners can take in their own yard to help fireflies.
Leave soil undisturbed, have soil with a diversity of plants, and minimize insecticide use however you can.
This summer's sparkle may be thanks to just the right mix of moisture and timing. But what happens below ground this fall and winter will determine whether we see the glow again next year. For AccuWeather, I'm Allie Reed.
We call them lightning bugs, but hey, it is the start of summer when you see them out there. What's the key to a successful World Cup tournament? It's not the players. It's not the fans. It's not the stadiums. It's not even the soccer balls. It's the grass. KNX's Brian Douglas is on the pitch to tell us about the science of World Cup grass.
And then Ronaldo! That is outstanding!
Oh, can you believe it? We are literally hours away from the start of the world's biggest sporting event. It all begins tomorrow. But first, let's talk grass. Yes, I said grass. The kind you run on.
We've probably been working on the science behind this since 2020. Some would tell you we've been working on the science behind this, for 40 years, and that would probably be accurate as well.
Now, FIFA requires that all the World Cup matches, they have to be played on natural grass. That means a lot of venues are going to need big transformations, including SoFi. That means getting rid of the turf and bringing in the real grass. And that's why we're talking to you, the expert. What's your name?
Dr. Trey Rogers, professor, turfgrass management, Michigan State University.
And there's a whole process of putting down the turf, and it really takes a pretty bad beating during the games.
One game in a FIFA World Cup was equal to a Super Bowl. The traffic, not just the player traffic, but all the traffic that surrounds this, was equal to a Super Bowl. And some of these stadiums are going to hold 9 games, so that's 9 Super Bowls.
And another really cool thing is the grass coming here to Los Angeles, it's got to come from somewhere else. They got to transport it here.
It transplants well. Meaning that it can go from Colorado to Atlanta. It can grow from Moses Lake, Washington to Los Angeles in a refrigerated truck, and it doesn't go under any physiological shock when we put it down, because the plant's not going to be asked to regrow a rooting system.
And a lot of the venues hosting the World Cup games, they have to go through some renovations here.
8 of the 16 stadiums usually don't have natural grass in them. 8 of the 16 stadiums have to have temporary fields built inside them. This includes 1 in Canada and 7 in the United States. And 5 of these 8 are dome stadiums that obviously aren't even going to have sunshine.
And because they're domed,
each stadium has to have a set of grow lights. And these are not lights that would light up for fan viewing. These would be lights that would actually be down above the turf in between games.
So, of course, the growing lights above the turf, but we also have a vacuum ventilation system.
And that will be underneath the turf grass down in the soil, where we can blow air or vacuum air, and particularly our vacuum water, high volumes of water.
Another interesting fact, about 5% of the turf is synthetic plastic fibers, kind of stitched deep inside the root zone to help prevent divots and so forth. And I'll tell you, those growers, they've been getting busy.
The sod farms have worked their tails off to provide just an outstanding product and deliver the best games that can be delivered.
All of that hard work just to make sure each pitch is as even and uniform as possible. I'm Brian Douglas, KNX News.
It's 7:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Lederman Law Firm is a team. That's what I really love about it. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family's been working with the Lederman Law Firm in St. Louis for over 20 years. Something people don't realize about estate planning, the documents alone aren't enough. One of the things I really appreciate about the Lederman Law Firm is I didn't just work with one person. I worked with a team. I wanted to highlight their dedicated funding team. That is a major part of it. At the Lederman Law Firm, they help make sure your assets and your beneficiaries are actually lined up with your plan, your accounts, your property, all of it working together the way it is supposed to. If your assets and beneficiaries don't match your plan, it doesn't matter how good the documents are. Your plan may not work the way you expected. The Lederman Law Firm's team walks us through that process, asset by asset, verifying the ownership and beneficiary of each asset in writing. And then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it updated as our lives and assets change, so our assets stay in sync with the plan. We trust them. You should as well. The Lederman Law Firm, 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the All Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
It is 7:31. We've got sunshine and 78 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, still no change downtown with our crash on westbound 64. Only the left lane's open westbound 64 east of Boyle. There's a solid jam back through Jefferson. If you're on the Illinois side coming in on 64, well, westbound 64 is slow briefly at 159. It's backed up west of 25th Street to 3rd Street where those right lanes are restricted. And because of that, of course, it's impacting 5570 as well. The jam back past 203, but there is a crash. They're still working at Exchange. So that's part of the reason why 5570 is a little heavier than maybe even 64 at that point. If you're on northbound 55, we still have slow traffic coming up north of A, midway from A up to McNutt. There's still slow traffic north of Richardson up to the Merrimack. After that, you're good to go. North 270 north of 55 is just slow pockets all the way up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue, a little busy. Southbound 61, south of Winslow Parkway onto 64 through Prospect to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's a little slowdown at Winghaven, a little slowdown at the Inner Belt. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today and tomorrow are going to be extremely hot with real field temperatures around 100 or higher. But then it cools off for Friday and Saturday because storms will be moving through. So today, 94 with a real field temperature around 100. We do have some thunderstorms tonight, which could bring some downpours, but just making things more steamy for tomorrow, 96. Right now, it is 78.
Illinois ranks 20th in U.S. states in overall child well-being, according to a new report that reveals some declines in health outcomes. Roger Plummer has more.
The 2026 Kids Count Data Book says Illinois nationally ranks number 7 in education, but 23rd in health, 24th in economic well-being, and 25th in family and community. The report notes that Illinois had a large decline in teen birth rates during the report's 2019 to 2024 study period. However, Illinois saw a sharper increase than the national average in child and teen mortality.
How much will Kansas City businesses profit from hosting a World Cup? UMKC Assistant Professor of Economics Kabir Bora tells MissouriNet It's a long-term investment.
So we have to just make sure that everything that we're making, right, everything that we have created, that like the streetcar or anything, like we build upon whatever is being constructed for the World Cup. So we do have reasons to be positive about the numbers here.
The World Cup begins in Kansas City June 16th with a free fan event throughout.
Gonna eat a lot of peaches.
It's time for Peaches at Eckert's. Eckert's Grafton Farm opens for the season on Friday with Pick Your Own Peaches. Peaches are also available at the Eckert's store in Belleville. Peach picking in Belleville will start at the end of June.
Last year's tornado ripped the air conditioning unit off the roof of the High Point Theater, which is now home of Cinema St. Louis. The best they've been able to do since is using industrial-sized fans to cool things down. But today, the High Point is getting new temporary AC units that will be installed in front of the theater just in time for this weekend's LGBTQ plus film festival. A permanent system is expected to go in later this summer. They say insurance only covered a fraction of the cost.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute is next.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mirajoyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It is 7:36, and coming up in 4 minutes, the latest on the roadways and the latest weather from our AccuWeather meteorologist. Right now, it's time for your Money Report, sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Social Security is expected to run out earlier than expected. It's now projected to run short of funds in late 2032, 3 months earlier than previously forecast. At that point, it would be able to pay out only 78% of scheduled benefits if no changes are instituted before then. As the population shrinks, fewer people are paying into the system. The Iran war remains front of mind for investors. Traders are watching whether peace talks in the Middle East remain on track, and markets are reacting to every headline. Right now, stock futures are pointing to a lower open. And Americana Merchandise is helping Cracker Barrel recover from last year's backlash after the chain tried to change its logo. The company is focused on improving its food and service, as well as having more appealing product displays at its retail stores. Cracker Barrel notes a collection tied to America's 250th anniversary is selling out fast. Store traffic is still falling, but declines have gotten less steep. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Tub and Swim Spa blowout sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the St. Charles Convention Center in the North Hall. Choose from over 25 American-made units on display. See hot tubs, swim spas, and cold tubs all ready for immediate delivery. Save up to 50% on MSRP. Financing is available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE. That's 1-800-SPA-SALE.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen.
Izzy, what's going on, man? You know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all of that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
Today, the Cards, the Mets.
Ackerman Total Access 515. First pitch 610.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, let's see how things are rolling out there. Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change downtown, Tom, with this crash on westbound 64 before Boyle. Only the left lane is open. The jam at least hasn't gotten any worse. It's still jammed right as you approach Jefferson, but it's solid through there. And, of course, some of the problem is folks are getting held up on the Illinois side. That road work, westbound 64 past 3rd Street in the right lanes, has 64 slow from just west of 25th Street, but 5570 is jammed well east of 203 because of a crash we had at Exchange. They cleared it, so there's still a lot of traffic trying to get in from the Illinois side. If you're on northbound 55, there's still a slowdown through McNutt. It's still slow north of Richardson to the Merrimack. North 270 approaching Test on Ferry all the way up to Ladue. Slow south 270, south of 364 to Ladue is busy. Southbound 61 north of Wentzville Parkway down on the eastbound 70 ramps heavy. There's a slowdown through Winghaven and then Lindbergh through the Interbelt. South 170, a couple of pockets where it's busy from Delmar down to 64. Even eastbound 44 is a little slow right around Laclede Station. Next update is 750 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
.com. 742 AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. It is hot and getting hotter.
It is, Debbie. It's uncomfortable already. We're at, 7:42 in the morning, and we're already talking about temperatures at 80 degrees, and real feels in the mid-80s, and there's no place to go but up. Sunshine and some clouds today. Gets to 94 with the real feel up to around 100. Now, watch out for a thunderstorm early tonight to kind of cut into this heat a little bit. Downpours and gusty winds are possible with any thunderstorm that does make it here. Then warm and sticky late tonight, low just 77. Another brutal, hot and humid day tomorrow with sun and clouds. Our high 96. Those real feels top the century mark. Later in the afternoon and early at night, there's going to be some severe thunderstorms that come through. They can produce hail, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes. Behind them, sunshine, cooler, and much less humid Friday. A much better day to get out and about, the high 86. Some sun Saturday, high 86. A little cloudy or humid on Sunday. Could be a thunderstorm, the high about 78. Right now, 78 at St. Peter's, 80 in Florissant, sunshine, and 81 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 7:43, sports in 2 minutes. The newest superfood trend might seem a bit fishy to some people. Want to take a guess what's taking over as the hottest trend in health?
No, thank you.
Sardines.
They're a really great source of omega-3 fatty acids, which are going to be really great for improving our triglyceride levels, reducing cholesterol levels, really just improving our overall heart health.
Henry Ford Health registered dietitian Allegra Picano, she says sardines are also a mega source of protein, which is also a big trend right now. Many companies are releasing products with protein in them. Picano says if you are looking for a protein boost, sardines are a good choice because it's a natural choice.
Fans who hear the whirring sound of a drone over a stadium might see it as a nuisance, but law enforcement has long viewed those as a potential weapon of mass destruction. Cheap drones are readily available, and the bloodshed they've caused during the wars in Ukraine and Iran have underscored the dangers law enforcement have been increasingly worried about. Experts say a terrorist could spend a few $100 on a drone, strap some explosives to it, and fly it to a target like a stadium full of people. So drones will not be allowed over the 78 World Cup games in 11 U.S. cities.
We will have World Cup coverage all month long here on KMOX. We are also the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. It's time for Ins and Outs. Sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. First word on the transaction before it actually was officially announced. Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang yesterday. Nathan Church activated from the injured list and optioned AAA Memphis. Victor Scott II.
That was a tough conversation, man, with Vic. It really was. This is a guy that's, I don't have to tell you guys, he's a hard worker. He's going to do everything you ask him to do. And it just wasn't translating at this level at the moment. There's certain adjustments he has to make. There's a certain way he's being pitched that made it really, really tough on him. It's not because of a lack of effort, determination, or work. He's going to go down to AAA. He's going to put his head down, and he's going to do everything possible to get back up here. But in the meantime, Church is ready to go, and I'm excited to have him in the lineup.
Church, the number 9 hitter, was he ready to go? Oh, absolutely. Here he is in the third inning.
Another 2-2 pitch coming up to Church, and he grounds that one inside the third base bag down the line. Kicks off the tarp. In fact, the tarp slows it down, and Gorman's going to be able to make it to third, and Church to second base as he takes the double the other way, and the Cardinals are in business here in the third inning. 2 runners in scoring position.
This is why that number 9 hitter is so important. You got to keep that continuity going in the lineup. Next batter, J.J. Weatherholt.
J.J. Weatherholt, who gets the first shot at driving in a run, and he hits that ball into center field. It's going to drop for a hit. A line drive single to center, and the Cardinals are going to take the lead 2-0 as J.J. Weatherholt delivers on the first pitch from Peralta.
Later in the inning, Jordan Walker.
And the first pitch to Walker is hit into left field for a hit. He smoked that ball into the corner, and running it down is Soto, and coming into second base is Walker, and he legs out a double. That was all hustle by Jordan Walker. He drives in J.J. Weatherholt, his 48th RBI of the year, and it's 3-0 Cardinals.
Cards led 4-0 in the fourth. Church wasn't finished. Here he is out in center field.
And that ball's hit hard and deep to center field. Backing up is Church, and he is looking up. It's over his head, but he catches it. Oh, my goodness. He settled under it and made a Willie Mays basket catch.
And the Cardinals went on to win this game 7-0. They get tremendous work out of Alec Burleson. He drove in 3, including a 2-run homer in the 5th. They get great pitching out of Dustin May, 6 scoreless. Justin Brule, 2 scoreless. And then Matt Swanson finished it off. The Cardinals win 7-0 to the field we go. Danny Wexelman, Cardinals TV, with the man of the hour, Nathan Church, just up after a rehab assignment at Memphis.
Thank you so much. You got a big smile on your face right now. What's going on in that head?
It was a good win. I mean, 7-0. Pitchers did a great job. Offense did great. We made a lot of good plays on defense. It was a good game.
Hey, your basket catch, I want to walk through it because you turned your head twice. Obviously, maybe not what you were hoping to do, but walk us through that play.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 outs. It's really windy here. Jay said it's super windy, kind of like tunnels and spins around. So, yeah, when I went back, it was like snaking. So I basically, just ran to the wall, basket caught, and it was a good play.
Did you surprise yourself?
It was just super windy. I was just trying to catch the ball.
And Dustin May gave you a big hug. What does that mean?
He did a great job tonight. I mean, we got 0 runs on the board for defense. He did a hell of a good game.
And how good does it feel to be back?
It feels amazing. Amazing to be back.
Hey, as the originator of the bark, can I get some?
Sounded real. Nathan Church with 3 hits on the night, and the Cardinals win it 7-0 over the Mets. Cardinals, here they come. They're 4.5 out in the NL Central. The Brewers lost last night. The Cardinals way ahead of the Cubs and the Pirates. They're 8 back, tied for 3rd in the division. Stanley Cup final went to the Carolina Hurricanes. They get a 5-3 win at Vegas, and even that series at 2 apiece. Innsbruck Resort's waiting for you, even on a hot day like today. Every day's the weekend. You can dip in one of those cool lakes. Oh, man, what a great treat that is. Jumping into you ever done that? Jump into a cold lake on a hot day like today. Innsbruck can provide that for the guests, as well as fishing, as well as hiking, as well as golf, and so many more options. They have a great little ice cream shop / Starbucks location right there in the middle of the property. But if you want to get away from it all, grab a little something at their market, back to the lake home, and just enjoy privacy and a great weekend at Innsbruck. Or today, for that matter. Innsbruck is great every day. That's why they say every day is the weekend. Innsbruck-resort.com. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. All right, here we go. Game 4 tonight. Madison Square Garden, the Knicks and the Spurs. The Knicks are a 2-point favorite, and I still like a -2 in that game 4. I think they can handle their business today and get this thing back to San Antonio up 3-1. I also had them winning in 6. At the time that I said that, I believe it was plus 560. It's now down to plus 250, the best odds, but I still like it. Knicks winning in 6. The New York Knicks up 2-1 in that best of 7 series against the Spurs. Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Soccer fans, get ready. Join St. Louis City SC in KMOX June 12th at Lufuse Plaza as the U.S. men's national team kick off their cup run against Paraguay. The party starts at 5 with live music, games, prizes, and plenty of soccer excitement before the 8 o'clock match. Then watch every minute of the action on the massive video screen surrounded by fellow fans. No tickets required. Just bring your USA spirit and be part of an unforgettable night. June 12th, Lufuse Plaza, presented by St. Louis City SC.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
7:51. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our trouble downtown, Debbie. They cleared the one crash, the initial crash, but we had 2 crashes. Well, first crash, EMS responded to. Then somebody struck one of the EMS vehicles and a second crash. So they're still working that second crash. This is the one westbound 64 just before Boyle, so still only left lane open. Still a solid jam at Jefferson. Westbound 64 is backed up 25th Street through 3rd Street, 5570 better coming into that merge if you want to stick with 64. Northbound 55. You got slow stuff approaching 141 to the Merrimack, and there's a little slowdown right through 4500 Broadway. North 270, north of 55, all the way up to Ladou's busy. South 270, a little slow at 364, and then Olive to Ladou. Out west, southbound 61 jammed, Wentzville Parkway ramping on to eastbound 70, 64. East of 364 through Winghaven is slow, and then again east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. Westbound 64, Clayton Worson to 270 is busy. South 170, Olive down through the Parkway looks kind of slow as well. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather is hot, and it is going to stay that way through tomorrow. A thunderstorm around early tonight will produce possibly flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts. Warm and sticky late tonight, low 77 after a high of 94. It'll feel like 100 today. Same tomorrow, high 96, feel like over 100. And the record, by the way, 98 set in 1933. We absolutely could get to tomorrow. Currently, we have bright sun in downtown St. Louis. It's 79 degrees, humidity at 80%.
The news continues. A nonprofit that tracks identity theft says unauthorized access to computers and mobile devices increased by 78% year over year.
You need to view your identity as an asset.
Identity Theft Resource Center's CEO Eva Velasquez tells KMOX that means practicing good cyber hygiene.
Making sure that you're verifying what websites you're going to, making sure that you're using unique passwords across all of your different accounts, not the same easy password across all of them, enabling multi-factor authentication or passkeys, using biometrics.
In its latest report released this week, the ITRC reveals an increase in the number of victims dealing with multiple identity breaches at the same time.
Chicago police are investigating a cross burning in Grant Park yesterday. WBBM's Nancy Hardy with details.
Police officers responded to Columbus Drive south of Buckingham Fountain at about 2:30 in the afternoon for an object on fire. Kanika Carlton was with her daughter and mother-in-law when they saw the burning cross leaning up against a tree. She shared video to social media.
And it's controlled. It's like a controlled
This is
burn.
a very controlled burn.
I wonder if that dude said it because he was walking awful close to it.
He was.
And
Carlton and her daughter told CBS News Chicago they were saddened and shocked to see the symbol of hate that was used to intimidate Black people in the South publicly displayed in Chicago. Firefighters put out the fire and no one was hurt. Detectives are investigating the motives and the circumstances around it. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A new food hall in downtown St. Louis promises to offer more than just a menu.
It's got a social space. It's going to have some game areas. It's got a rear patio that has a retractable roof. So I think all of that really combines to create an atmosphere where people want to gather. They can be social. They can get a variety of foods.
That's Alex Oliver, CEO of Oliver Properties, who says the Washington Avenue Food Hall will feature 6 food vendors, 2 bars, and vendors with desserts and snacks. He tells KMOX's Total Information AM his vision is to create a space for after-work gatherings as well as networking and conference opportunities. The food hall is set to open in October.
Ackerman says they have programs and tips available to help lower your energy bills or help low-income residents make payments. However, what they don't recommend, turning off your HVAC units when the temperatures get high. Ackerman Vice President Tara Oglesby.
Not running your air conditioning unit can, cause severe health issues and even death. And we don't, we want to prevent that from happening.
She adds, if you're struggling, you can reach out to them or Cool Down St. Louis for financial assistance.
Bryce Claiborne of Cardinal Ritter College Prep is the recipient of a $10,000 scholarship from the St. Louis Sports Commission. While running the 200 meters at a track meet, the runner in the next lane tripped and fell. Claiborne picked him up and they walked off the track together without finishing the race. 6 other students won $1,000 scholarships for acts of sportsmanship as well.
Congrats to all. It's 7:56.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we'd been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
While the world watches the stars at the FIFA World Cup this summer, Hyundai has its eyes on the next generation of talent, the future stars who are already turning heads at age 14. Because next doesn't wait for an invitation. And neither do we. Hyundai has always moved the future within reach. We did it when we made advanced safety standard on every vehicle and engineered EVs with ultra-fast charging capability. Because the future isn't some far-off concept. It's already here. Next starts now. Hyundai, an official partner of FIFA.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Each week during the Redbird Rush Hour, we put a spotlight on someone who's making the community better using sports. It's building community with Busey Bank beyond the game. Join us this week for another story of someone who's finding a way to make a big impact on the community we all call home. Brought to you by Busey Bank.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Toby, we still have this crash westbound 64 before Boyle. Only left lane's open. It's still a solid jam at Jefferson. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 jam 25th Street to 3rd Street through that work zone. North 270, Tesson Ferry through Gravois 44 all the way up to Ladue. Heavy eastbound 64 Lindbergh into Big Bend slow. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Are local health officials concerned about international travelers bringing Ebola to Missouri? We will ask that question after the news.
What's the best way to hydrate in this extreme heat? Megan Lynch gets tips from a dietitian.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg tells us we're going to get up to 92 degrees today with AccuWeather real feels near or over 100. Airbag thefts have skyrocketed. ABC's Jim Ryan will have the latest. I'll be back for the Gas House Gang at noon. Megan Lynch is next.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump this morning declaring Iran will now have to, in his words, pay the price for waiting too long to reach a peace deal. Just yesterday, the president told ABC he still believes he can get to a deal. This comes as stepped-up attacks on both sides happen overnight after an Iranian drone knocked down a U.S. Army Apache helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz. Despite recent controversies, political newcomer Graham Plattner easily winning the Democratic Senate primary in Maine.
I love every single one of you, everyone who has shown up at a town hall, who has knocked on a door, who cast their vote, not for me, but for a vision of a life in Maine that you can afford.
He will face incumbent Senator Susan Collins in the election in November. Pope Francis continues his trip through Spain. Today, he's been visiting with inmates at a prison and later will celebrate Mass at the Sagrada Familia Basilica in Barcelona. This is ABC News. The FDA announcing it is adding an ingredient to the list of what's permitted for sunscreens. It's an ultraviolet filter. It's been engineered to sit in a way where it can sit on top of your skin. It still protects you, though, and doesn't deeply penetrate. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton has more on what's available currently.
There are two main forms of sunscreen. There's your mineral sunscreen that has components like zinc oxide that sits on the top of the skin. It works as a reflector. Many people don't like it because it leaves that mineral cast on your skin, and it can be displeasing. There's also chemical sunscreen, which is the other option. Now, that's absorbed into your skin. That job is to absorb UV rays. But the issue with that is that a lot of scientific studies have shown that it can absorb so much that it gets into your blood.
The likelihood of long-term peace in Hollywood just increased. Members of the Directors Guild Union, the latest to reach a deal with studios and streaming services. The Writers and the Actors Unions also reached similar deals. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, June 10th. I'm Megan Lynch.
Choose North City. Choose Black people. Choose community.
Dozens of people with those sentiments packed the Kennedy Room before the St. Louis Aldermanic HUD's committee on how the last of the Rams money should be held.
$110 million was already going to tornado recovery in North St. Louis, but community members wanted the committee to take $55 million slated for downtown to be reallocated for the tornado. But the people felt like their pleas fell on deaf ears.
After they met with you in your hearings and your office hours, that after all of that, people who are suffering the most made time to give you all of that time, all of that energy, and this is the best you will give them? You don't deserve to lead this. You are more of the same, and you ought to be ashamed.
The Aldermanic HUD Committee voted unanimously to give the $110 million to tornado recovery with another $10 million, and Alderwoman Alicia Saunier added an amendment to use the interest from the $55 million going to downtown. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge.
We really cleaned up, I think, the downtown bucket. The downtown bucket had about 5 different uses, and it really wasn't clear, like the riverfront language wasn't clear. It was important that we mentioned that there's actually a plan for downtown, and there's been a plan for downtown before COVID.
The people were not happy with the vote and vowed to vote the Alder people who backed $55 million for downtown out of office. It now goes before the full Board of Aldermen. Rasheen Aldridge expects passage. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
St. Louis County has a new police chief. The Board of Police Commissioners has officially named Colonel Juan Cox the department's 11th chief. Commissioner Thomasina Hassler says both finalists were strong, but Cox stood out.
Both candidates were excellent. Colonel Cox, Lieutenant Colonel Cox now, has a breadth of experience that we were looking for in terms of the different assignments over the years in the department.
For Cox, who joined the force back in 1995, it's the top of a long climb.
It feels good to start out as a police recruit with a whole bunch of talented individuals and to be here 31 years later as the police chief. I'm humbled, actually, and it's a blessing.
Cox replaces Colonel Kenneth Gregory, who retired this spring. He says picking his own deputy chief is next on the list. A problem in St. Louis is not just a St. Louis problem.
Teen takeovers. Sunday's chaos at a Shrewsbury trampoline park. 300 kids, 8 fights. A 12-year-old with a butcher knife is the latest in a string of similar scenes at entertainment venues across the country this year. Six Flags St. Louis, of course, shut down on its opening day after 100 teenagers started brawling in the parking lot. An Orlando amusement park got rushed by over 1,000 kids the same weekend. 2 deputies wound up in the hospital. And now at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, police just wrapped up a 2-month investigation into their opening day fight and came back with 55 charges, felonies included, against kids as young as 12. Social media is how they're organizing. Chaperone policies are typically how the parks are responding. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The mayor of Arlington Heights says there's blame to go around for failure to get a deal done to keep the Bears in Illinois. And some should go to Chicago Mayor Johnson, who convinced some lawmakers to hold out for a non-existent plan. Mike Krauser has more.
Mayor Jim Tenalia says, and this is a quote, "Those lawmakers and Mayor Johnson, what they've accomplished by this nonsense is instead of saying, good, the Bears will still be in Illinois, the choice is instead, oh yeah, we'll let them go to Indiana."
So now the Bears have no choice. I mean, I get it. There's no angry Arlington Heights situation here. It's really just an unfortunate turn of events of how all that shook out. And it's clear that this is just a mistake.
Tenalia believes a special legislative session is a long shot. He's not expecting that, and he's not expecting the Bears to wait to see if something happens in the fall.
Gas prices slowly dipping, but are St. Louisans still feeling pain at the pumps? KMOX's Sean Malone has more.
Is it impacting your budget overall, having to spend more than you were a few months ago?
Sure it is.
How
Sure.
so?
Well, with the price of food, gas, and everything else, everything's so up and high and out of control. Yeah, it affects us.
Is it tough driving this truck?
It's a gas guzzler, so yeah, legit. I can only put $12 in right now. That's all I got. So it's been a struggle trying to keep up with it.
I would hope for it to go down or a little bit lower, but can't make any promises or can't see the future either.
Is it hurting your budget at all, trying to figure out moving forward through the summer months what you guys are going to be able to do with the price of gas as it is?
I would say so.
Oh, so have you had to change any summer plans or anything?
A couple times, but nothing too major.
Sugar Fire Smokehouse partnering this summer with Jordan Walker. The Cardinals outfielder will have his own limited time menu item at all Sugar Fire locations starting today. Coming up on Total Information AM, should we be worried about Ebola and World Cup visitors? Dr. Alexander Garza, Chief Community Health Officer with SSM Health, is going to talk more about that. And then a little later, we're going to give you some simple tips for keeping hydrated in this extreme heat. It's 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes here on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my good friend John Moriarty. John and I have been friends and business partners for years now. He is the principal at E3 Consultant Group, and he is back in the DGS fold. So John, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am so happy to be back and also happy to talk about our firm, E3. We have over 70 advisors, Dave, now in multiple cities, working with our clients on the wealth, tax, insurance, asset protection, business consulting side. One of my biggest passions right now is working with business owners and trying to help them reduce their tax liability, improve their cash flow for future generations.
I've known John for years and years and years now. John is a good guy, very smart, excellent pitcher in baseball. That means a lot to me. You have
those days are long gone.
You have a new book out.
We do have a new book out. It's called The Entrepreneur Playbook, written for business owners that have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the book should be dropping on Amazon probably in the next 30 days. And we've got white papers that are supporting it. A lot of that information is going to be on our website at e3wealth.com. But the key thing to me, Dave, is we try to keep creating educational tools for business owners, individuals, families, so that they can protect the purpose of their money.
So whether you are interested in classic personal retirement, business growth, or just an overall tax strategy, reach out to my friend John at e3wealth.com.
This summer, there's no better place to catch Team USA in the FIFA World Cup 26 than the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. We hosted KMOX listeners there last week, and trust us, the atmosphere is incredible. Huge screens, great seats everywhere, ice cold beer, $15 Michelob Ultra pitchers, $20 Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts, and collectible FIFA cups while supplies last. Bring your crew, cheer on Team USA at the Beer Garden. Visit BudweiserTours.com for details.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, this is Total Information AM here on KMOX. Let's get you updated on problems on the roads. Roger Brand watching the slowdowns from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news, Megan. Just about 5 minutes ago, they cleared that crash westbound 64 at Boyle. It's still jammed from Jefferson to Grand, and then it's picking up the pace after that. And after that, of course, you still have some slow traffic from about Clayton Skinker out to Hanley and Spady out to Ballas. If you're coming the other way, southbound 61 Wentzville Parkway down to 64 or 70, still slow. It's slow of Winghaven more than midway into Highway K. A little busy after Clarkson and then east of Lindbergh through that 170 area. Northbound 270 primarily Gravois to Ladue. That's the busy stretch. If you're coming up on 55, that looks pretty good. Just a little slow approaching Potomac. On the Illinois side, we still have this jam due to the road work. Westbound 64 bumper to bumper 25th Street to 3rd Street because those right lanes are shut down for their repair work that goes on till the 20th, I believe. And eastbound 270 starting to see a little slowdown coming across the Chain Rocks Bridge downtown. 44 between the bridges is busy. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny to partly cloudy today, breezy, hot and humid this afternoon, high 94. AccuWeather real fuel temperatures around 100. A thunderstorm early tonight can produce downpours and damaging wind gusts. Partly cloudy, warm and sticky late tonight, though 77. For tomorrow, times of sun and clouds, breezy, very hot and humid, high 96. Real feels over 100. The record is 98, set in 1933. A severe thunderstorm late tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow night can produce downpours, hail, damaging winds, even an isolated tornado. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got sunny skies, 81 degrees in Florissant, 80 in St. Peters, and downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The U.S. State Department is reaching out to European countries asking for more stringent travel controls amid concerns that World Cup visitors could bring Ebola to the United States. Kansas City, of course, one of the U.S. host sites for World Cup matches over the next month. We wanted to check in with local disease experts about the potential risks. And joining me now on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line is Chief Community Health Officer at SSM Health, Dr. Alexander Garza. Dr. Garza, thanks for joining me this morning.
Sure, no problem.
First question for you. How concerned are you that Ebola could be introduced either to the United States or even to Missouri through visitors to World Cup matches?
I think it's a very low risk, and the reason why I say that is because of some of the restrictions that have already been put in place for travel to the United States from those areas that where Ebola is currently circulating. Now, in your introduction about asking the European countries to assist with identifying where those passengers are coming from, I think that's a reasonable request as well. But given it's still a small scope as far as the outbreak goes. It's not small. I mean, it is a large outbreak, but the probability of somebody traveling from one of those affected areas into Europe and then to the United States is pretty low. And then being able to identify them once they arrive in the United States and then doing all the appropriate screening even lowers that risk even more.
That does answer some questions that I had because, one of the things that I was told early on in this is that just because someone has not been to Central Africa, for example, doesn't mean they might not be exposed through one of these major transportation hubs. What kind of screening, is going on in some of these hubs in European countries?
So typically the screening that occurs is both a questionnaire, so asking people, if they've been exposed to anyone with Ebola, also temperature screening, and then just an observation of passengers as they're transiting through the country, through the airports for any signs or symptoms of disease. And that's what we do here in the United States at the different airports where active screening is going on as well.
When it comes to, for example, blocking someone from entering the United States, I know early on there were some planes that were diverted because of concerns. Are those measures appropriate and in proportion to the potential threat?
Well, they're consistent, at least with what we've done previously with Ebola outbreaks. So you want to be able to concentrate your resources to be able to do this active screening in certain facilities where you have this. You already have a contingent of public health people at these airports for travelers that are coming in from overseas, for not just for Ebola, but for really multiple different disease processes. So being able to concentrate that in certain airports just makes sense, both from a sort of a technical standpoint. So, having the right skill set of people there to identify the disease, but also from a logistics standpoint. So you don't have people trying to do this screening at every hospital that's receiving international passengers. And so it's relatively consistent with what we've done in the past with other Ebola outbreaks.
Now, when it comes to Ebola, I wonder if people are kind of looking at this through the lens of, for example, COVID, where the transmission is a little bit different. So for all of us, bring us up to speed on really how Ebola is transmitted, maybe compared to some other viruses.
Yeah, and I think that's the big difference between a COVID type of exposure or spread and Ebola. So COVID respiratory spread through the air. You don't have to be in direct contact with an infected patient. You just have to be able to be in the vicinity, to be in contact with the virus. Ebola is very different. It's spread through contact through the skin or through mucous membranes with fluids from an infected person, so whether that be blood or some other fluid from the body. So you have to be in this direct contact in order for transmission to occur, which again then lowers the risk profile of this becoming a widespread pandemic rather than these isolated epidemics that we're seeing, in Africa right now.
Were there to be any concern about a potential Ebola case in Missouri through the World Cup travel, what would be the protocols both for local health officials and statewide?
Yeah, so it's really built off of a couple of different principles. So one is to identify the case. So Ebola early on can mimic, multiple different viral diseases, causes fevers, muscle aches, generally not feeling well, not eating, all those sorts of things. So you really have to use those symptoms, but then tie it to travel history or a potential for exposure from some other means in order to identify, hey, is this potentially a case? And from there, then it sets off a significant cascade of events. So there's specific testing that has to occur in order to identify somebody that has potential Ebola. So it takes specialized tests at what are called reference laboratories. So not every laboratory in a hospital or in a clinic can perform this test. It's a specialized test. So the key is to identify them, get the ball rolling together with our partners in public health and the state health department, all those things. If there's a high potential, then of course you would want to isolate the patient and then gather all the information to make sure, that this is or is not a case of Ebola. So, and then after that, it's those very tried and true public health measures. You have to do contact tracing and find out, okay, so who is around this person? We need to find them, make sure they're doing okay. So in many ways, it's very similar to other infectious disease processes, but it's just a little bit more complex given the rarity of the disease and the specialized testing and everything else that goes along with it.
Dr. Garza, thank you so much for sharing your insights today.
Sure, not a problem.
That's Dr. Alexander Garza, Chief Community Health Officer at SSM Health. And one other note there, the national soccer team from the Democratic Republic of Congo has been placed under a 3-week isolation protocol before being allowed to play in the World Cup. It's now 8:19. Let's get an update on the roads for you on this Wednesday morning. Roger Brand is watching problems from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, 64 westbound coming through Grand is finally thinned out, Megan. This traffic reports a service to the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm, but you still have heavy traffic from the Science Center all the way to Big Bend westbound on 64. If you're on eastbound 64, it's slow. Winghaven most of the way into Highway K and then east of Lindbergh into about Big Bend as well. Southbound 270 approaching Olive down through Ladue is busy. North 270 Gravois all the way up to Ladue is pretty slow. Eastbound 364 Bennington to 270, the right lane's a little crowded there. And the northbound 55, okay, we have a backup on Telegraph, of course, Christopher, up through Herb, and then there was a crash on Telegraph just before 255. It's kind of heavy back there at Pottle. On the Illinois side, you still have the delays, bumper-to-bumper stuff, westbound 64 from 25th Street to 3rd Street due to that construction work. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. And checking the forecast for today, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, hot, and humid this afternoon. We're expecting a high of 94, but the real field temperatures could be around 100. A thunderstorm possible early tonight. We may see some flooding downpours with that. Otherwise, partly cloudy, warm, humid late tonight, an overnight low 77 degrees. Right now, we have sunny skies, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 for Dr. Greg Birdie or Dr. Ranjan Malhotra or Dr. Andy Royer. They are the doctor's doctors. What that means is they serve and work with, as patients, over 250 doctors. That's right. Over 250 doctors come to them to get their eyes checked. If the doctors are coming to them to get their eyes checked, don't you think you should as well? I certainly felt that way. So I started going to Ophthalmology Associates several years ago, and I'm very happy that I made that decision. They are very easy to find. They're online at youridoc.com, whether it's allergy eye, any diseases of the eye, or just a routine annual eye exam. It's a good thing to do at Ophthalmology Associates. 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Granger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate,
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. As you were just hearing, we are going to have real field temperatures near 100 today. We're hitting the heat of summer. So how do you stay well hydrated? I asked Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian at Brands Nutrition.
The main thing with hydration is that you need to have non-caffeinated beverages in order for you to get the most out of your hydration. So caffeine can be a diuretic. So that means that our body excretes some hydration whenever we have a diuretic. So if you're on diuretic pills, if you're taking caffeine, then we have to be mindful of how much your body's getting rid of. So having non-caffeinated beverages can be helpful for getting in more hydration. So that could be like waters or juices, lemonades, teas, those types of things. And then you also can get fluids from food too. So having those hydrating foods can be helpful to incorporate as well. But sometimes whenever people talk about like quote unquote bad hydration, for me, what comes to mind is like those things that would be dehydrating, like caffeinated beverages. But some people might also think sugar sweetened beverages are bad, or that like caloric beverages are going to add up. So it kind of depends on like what your medical conditions are, what your nutrient needs are, on how that impacts your body. But all foods fit and all drinks fit too. So we can definitely incorporate a wide variety of them. But I wouldn't necessarily want to call any of them bad.
What about electrolyte drinks? Who needs those?
So I would say electrolyte drinks are great for anybody that is regularly losing electrolytes through sweating, diarrhea, vomiting, those types of things. But whenever the weather's hotter, we're all sweating a lot more. And so if you're like mowing the grass, you might be noticing that you're sweating more. You're losing electrolytes then. If you're incorporating movement, if you're an athlete, you're definitely losing a lot through sweating. But sometimes when people are overhydrating with just water, they're at risk for water toxicity, where your body needs that good like fluid electrolyte balance and you're not getting the electrolytes in balance with the water. So if you've ever heard of people maybe drinking like a gallon of water, which is like way too much water, especially if you're not actively sweating a lot, then you are definitely going to need to balance that with electrolytes. So electrolyte containing beverages can be great, and salty snacks can also be great, and that helps you hold on to that hydration.
What about alcohol in the summer?
So alcohol is going to be a little bit of that dehydrating type of thing because your body is trying to get rid of toxins with having enough fluid to flush that out. So that's why it's really good to stay hydrated when you're incorporating alcohol. I've heard before that like whenever you have too much alcohol, that it's kind of like the like alcohol poisonings, like the where you're so dehydrated, like it's like the hangover that kills you, right? So it's like your body is dehydrated whenever you're having that hangover. So if you're wanting to prevent one, then getting enough fluids, getting enough to eat where you're not drinking on an empty stomach, but being able to prevent that with getting some electrolytes too, especially like, let's say it, like sometimes when we incorporate alcohol, we might end up throwing up, and that's going to be something that causes you to lose a lot of fluids and electrolytes. So definitely trying to replace those two.
You mentioned hydrating foods. I'm assuming a lot of that is fruit and vegetables.
Yes, absolutely. So anything that's really juicy. So we definitely think of the fruits and vegetables, but there's also things like Jell-O or soup or like puddings, things that are just naturally kind of like a bit more liquidy. So popsicles are a really great one too, like frozen things. Anything that is like more wet or would melt, those are going to be hydrating too, and that can be a great way to incorporate some hydration. There's even like these electrolyte containing popsicles. So if you want to explore that and you think that they're tasty, then that can be a great option too.
That is Michelle Wilson with Brands Nutrition. Stay with Total Information AM. There's a new rise in car break-ins. We're going to tell you what the thieves are looking for with ABC's Jim Ryan coming up next. It's now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
8:31. Let's get the latest on the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have slow traffic on northbound 270. This traffic reports a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. It's slow north of Sappington through Gravois and then 44 all the way up to Ladue. South 270, Oliveville, Ladue is busy. Northbound 141 is jammed from almost Milldale up to 64, so be advised of that. Eastbound 64 on the brakes at Winghaven, then it's slow more than midway into Highway K. It's heavy again, Lindbergh into Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's, bogged down. South 170 is off the pace from the Parkway down to 64. And then on the Illinois side, we still have this backed up traffic westbound 64 from 25th Street to 3rd Street, where those right lanes are closed for construction. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be breezy, hot, and humid this afternoon, a high 94, and the real feel temperatures are going to hit 100. Right now, we do have sunny skies, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. You probably remember when thieves were stealing catalytic converters off of cars in St. Louis. Well, they are going after another part this time. ABC's news correspondent Jim Ryan joins me now. Jim, good morning. What are thieves taking off of cars?
Well, the airbags. And we really saw this beginning, over a decade ago, Megan, when Takata was recalling millions of its airbags because of a flaw that made the things explode, essentially, the airbag inflators. That sort of died down, but it never went away completely. And now, according to the insurance industry, about 50,000 steering wheel airbags are being stolen every year across the United States, mainly a city problem. It's happening a lot in Chicago, where they've had a spike in those cases, but also in Miami and Los Angeles and elsewhere. So yeah, certainly something to watch out for. Parking your car in the garage is a good idea instead of on the street if you have that option available. And maybe getting an old school steering wheel lock. Remember the club? Put that on there, and it may protect you from getting your steering wheel airbag stolen.
Jim, are there any makes or models of cars that seem to be higher targets for this, where it's easier for the thieves to get in there and get those airbags?
Honda. For some reason, Honda, the Acura, and the Civic are both hot commodities when it comes to this kind of thing. They appear to have easy-to-steal airbags, so they're being targeted across the country. And so, yeah, but anything, any car with an airbag in it is susceptible to this sort of thing. And it can be done very, very quickly. A thief who knows what he's doing can steal one in less than a minute.
When it comes to how much the thieves can sell these for, I mean, is it worth it? Who's buying them?
Well, it could be unscrupulous auto shops or mechanics who don't mind paying $200, $250 for an item that's about $1,000 in reimbursement from an insurance company. So, yeah, and in Chicago, for example, a city council member there is proposing legislation that would go after not only the people stealing the airbags, but the people buying them, the people who are running this big black market in stolen airbags.
Jim, thanks so much. Appreciate the heads up.
Thanks, Megan.
That is ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan joining us this morning here on Total Information AM. We've got your money report next.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
Your money report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
El Nino has formed across the Pacific, setting the stage for months of droughts, floods, and temperature fluctuations that can damage crops and strain power grids. The climate phenomenon is the first since 2023, and it could be one of the strongest on record. It's expected to intensify in the coming months. Turning to trading, it was a mixed finish on Wall Street yesterday. Tech shares weighed on the S&P 500, which fell 0.3%. However, the Dow rose 86 points. This morning, investors are following developments in the Middle East as the U.S. and Iran exchange strikes, and Starbucks is said to be considering options for its Japanese business, including selling a stake in the unit. An initial public offering is also an option. Japan is one of Starbucks' biggest markets with about 2,100 stores. The coffee chain recently sold a majority stake of its Chinese business. Starbucks declined to comment. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 free and 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The latest data shows inflation in the United States has hit its highest level since 2023. Drones are being banned over World Cup stadiums due to fears they could be weaponized. And New York has now implemented a law requiring advertisements featuring AI-generated people to clearly label them as synthetic performers. Let's check on the morning rush with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still slow on northbound 270, Megan. This traffic reports a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. There's still a heavy pocket right through Gravois, and then from a little south of Big Bend all the way up through Ladue. It's pretty congested. Eastbound 64, you still have delays from Winghaven, more than midway into Highway K, and again from Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend. South 170 backs up at the Parkway. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. There's still some slow stuff running through there. Northbound 141, Clayton Road up to 64 is backed up, sort of slow up to St. Luke's, really. That's the heaviest part there. And then downtown, westbound 64, Baugh Avenue, 5570 at Exchange, still backed up onto 64 through the work zone at 3rd Street, and seeing a little slowdown on eastbound 270 approaching the Canal Bridge. They started at 7:30, I think, out there. They'll be there till 3:30 today. That right lane closed. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
You'll need to take it easy outside today. We could hit real field temperatures around 100 degrees. It's going to be sunny, breezy, hot, and humid. We could see some thunderstorms around early tonight with a low around 77. And then tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, breezy, still hot and humid with a high of 96 and real feels over 100 degrees. We currently have sunny skies, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning for Total Information AM here on KMOX. The Missouri Supreme Court declines to hear an appeal over ballot language that you'll see in August when you go to the polls. Let's talk about that and other legal news with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris Young & Kaiser. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
We talked about Amendment 5 last week. That's the ballot question that would eliminate the state income tax. What's the latest on the wording that voters are going to see when they go to the polls?
Well, when this was before the Western District Court of Appeals last week, Megan, the issue was whether or not the ballot summary was clear and concise. And the Western District rewrote it somewhat to make it very clear that if you vote for this, it authorizes the expansion of sales and use taxes, including into areas that current constitutional provisions may restrict, such as home sales or use taxes or even services. So the Western District rewrote that slightly. It went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court yesterday let stand the ruling from the Western District. What does that mean? That means it will be on the ballot on the August 4 primary, and the issue will be whether or not Missouri voters want to eliminate the Missouri income tax in exchange for increased taxes in other areas such as sales taxes or use taxes.
The U.S. Supreme Court has some major decisions expected this month on a number of issues, a couple of gun rights cases, a case involving transgender athletes. Let's start with gun rights. A couple of things in question here. One is, whether you can tell someone they can't bring a gun on your property, and the other having to do with people who might use drugs and own a gun. So what are the things in question here when it comes to the Second Amendment?
Well, the Hawaii law is very interesting because it really flips the script. Under current Hawaii law, it's not that you have to obtain permission, but there's a blanket under the law. No one has permission to enter any private property with a gun unless they are given permission to do so. So instead of there being, you can bring it on someone's property unless you're told not to, you have to be given specific permission to bring a gun onto private property. That's up before the Supreme Court. On that issue, I foresee that the Supreme Court will strike down that law, finding that it's too onerous on the Second Amendment right to carry guns when you have to actually obtain someone's permission before entering the property. The other issue made famous by Hunter Biden is whether or not you can purchase a gun while you're in the process of using drugs. Not that you're high at that moment, but you use drugs regularly. And the court is going to have to weigh the issues here of protection, right? Do we really want people buying guns who are currently using illegal drugs? Or does the Second Amendment's right to bear arms overshadow that safety concern? That's what the court will be dealing with before the end of June.
And as I understand it, this is also kind of tied up in the part of the law that talks about whether a felon can have a gun or not. So it's kind of a tightrope that the Supreme Court would be walking there.
It is, because under current law, and it's been this way for a very long time, if you commit a felony, you lose the right to purchase a gun. But since the Supreme Court now has elevated the Second Amendment right to bear arms with other rights, could you lose that by committing a felony? That's all what the court is wrestling with, and we anticipate a decision before the end of this month.
What about cases involving transgender athletes? What is the high court being asked to consider there?
Well, both Idaho and West Virginia current law restricts transgender girls and women from competing. And basically, both of these states, Megan, make it that it has to align with your birth gender. So the question becomes, does that violate the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause? Does it violate Title IX? Or, as the states argue, is this actually protecting women's sports from having to compete with men who are their birth gender happens to be male? So I do see the court here ruling in favor of Idaho and West Virginia and allowing states, if they choose to do so, it wouldn't require it nationwide, but it would allow states to craft laws to protect women's sports from transgender athletes.
Let's turn to immigration. A federal judge has struck down the Trump administration's fee on H-1B visas. Those are visas for highly skilled foreign workers. The charge was $100,000. When we look at this judge's ruling, what was the ruling based on?
Well, the ruling was based on the separation of powers. And this may sound like an obtuse question here, Megan, but it really does impact lots of companies, including companies right here in the St. Louis area, because of the desire to import highly skilled workers like computer coding and other tech-centric job positions. And before President Trump's executive order, those licensing fees were in the range of a few $1,000s. President Trump raised that to $100,000 in order to protect American workers. The court, though, struck it down, saying it's a tax. You're essentially taxing these companies, and the executive branch does not have the power to tax under our constitutional system.
One last quick question for you. It was a story that we were talking about last week. It has to do with the Festus City Council. The data center question, a lot of citizens were upset about how the council voted on the data center. They called for a recall election, but now the council has basically said they're rejecting that petition for that recall election. What happens next?
Well, what happens next is that the petition drive is going to have to start from scratch. The problem that they did was that they simply alleged that the Festus City Council committed acts of incompetence or they actually committed malfeasance, but they did not describe what that was. And under Missouri law, you have to give specific examples of it. You can't just say they committed malfeasance or that they were incompetent. So that group is going to have to regroup. They're going to have to get a legal counsel to help them guide how these petitions are done and take another run at it. The question is, can they do that before the November ballot? And that's a very tough question.
Brad, thank you so much. Appreciate your insight today.
My pleasure.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. We talk to him every Wednesday morning at 8:40 here on Total Information AM. Coming up, more than 4,000 Missouri residents have filed complaints with the state over insurance coverage related to last year's severe storms. We're going to learn more coming up.
I'm Rachel Zimmerman. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Tom Ackerman here on a hot day like today. Boy, an ice-cold Budweiser is going to hit the spot. Budweiser, the king of beers. Refreshing, that delicious taste, and that great tradition. They have perfected the recipe, that delicious St. Louis-based Anheuser-Busch lager right here for the last 150 years, 1876. Same age as Major League Baseball and 100 years younger than America. They are celebrating with those patriotic cans. Saw them in the store yesterday with America written on them, those great Budweiser labeled cans. Budweiser is the king of beers and has been for 150 years. On a hot summer day, watching a ball game, maybe watching some soccer, whatever it is, an ice-cold Budweiser is the way to go. Budweiser, the king of beers for the last 150 years. Crack open an ice-cold Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Don't miss the hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this weekend at the St. Charles Convention Center. Over 25 American-made units on display. Immediate delivery and financing available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Missourians filed more than 250,000 insurance claims related to severe weather last year. The Missouri Department of Commerce and Insurance, their director says that while companies have paid out nearly $3 billion in reimbursements, it could take up to 3 years for all the insurance checks to arrive. More than 4,000 Missourians aren't happy. They've filed formal complaints. Missouri Net's Sue Danielson spoke with Director Angela Nelson to get the latest insurance data from St. Louis related to last year's deadly tornado.
So I think what we're seeing and what we tried to do with this, obviously this last report, is to give kind of that buttoning up of the end of what that disaster looks like 1 year after the fact. So obviously we had to wait until the anniversary date to allow that information to flow through. But I would say first and foremost, we are continuing to see, I think, the effects of the high uninsured population that was really directly impacted by this tornado. And that fact alone is really, showing through in some of the data. So again, we know that from publicly available estimates, the amount of estimated damage across St. Louis is about $1.6 billion. But what we've seen from the insurance industry is that they have fielded about 10,000 out of the St. Louis area. Those are for residential property as well as private passenger automobile. It doesn't include large buildings, commercial risks, that sort of thing. So far through May 25th, they have paid out more than $475 million. Again, that's just for residential property, renters insurance, and personal automobile coverage. So we know that there's a huge gap, obviously, between what the damage is and versus what was insured. But again, that's attributable to the just extremely high rate of uninsureds that we have in that particular part of St. Louis.
So 10,000 insurance claims from the St. Louis area. We also know the state has fielded a lot of complaints from the St. Louis area and also statewide about tied to their insurance coverage and reimbursement. What are some of the top complaints?
Typically claims handling is the number one reason that consumers come to us. I mean, we look at all aspects, obviously, of their interactions with their insurance company, but the claims process is the one that really drives consumers to us. So not surprisingly, that is the number one complaint that we're seeing. And in terms of the specific issues and trends that we're seeing within that, we see a lot of complaints coming to us that are, coming from claim delays. Folks obviously feel like things aren't moving fast enough. The number one issue, though, is really, I think, again, somewhat symptomatic of what may be going on in that market up there, and that is a low settlement offer. And by low settlement offer, that's where the homeowner believes that there's more damage that was caused by the storm, perhaps, than what the insurance company has seen and has estimated. And then the second issue actually driving complaints to us are just issues related to the claims adjuster. So folks believe that adjusters aren't giving communication to them fast enough. They're having issues with how the adjuster has conducted their inspection, et cetera.
Well, how long is a reasonable wait time?
Well, and I wouldn't say that this is an issue that is because of insurance companies not paying fast enough. The difference, the huge gap really comes in from, roughly in some zip codes up to 70% of the homes not being insured. So that's really the crux of the issue. When you kind of talk about the length of recovery, what I've always told folks is that even if you have your home burned down and it's just your home, you should expect that process will take you about a year, just by the nature of how things go. It's not an easy process to rebuild your home. It's just not. When you take a disaster the size and scale of what you saw in St. Louis, compounded with obviously all the surrounding areas that likewise had a lot of severe convective storms, then you start having issues where you're competing for contractors, resources, supplies, and that really aggravates and makes that recovery process that much longer. But that's not necessarily an indication that the insurance industry is dragging their feet. That is sometimes just the nature of the process. We know in large-scale disasters, it can sometimes take 2 up to 3 years to rebuild those communities. That's just the unfortunate, difficult recovery process.
Well, how would you assess the health of insurance companies right now?
You have a series of storms in a year like 2025, and it's certainly, a little bit of a shock to the system. It certainly was larger than what we've seen in past years, but this is what insurance companies are built for. People don't realize, they're going to take some significant losses this year, but they're required to build up reserves, and those reserves are there to make sure in times like this that they can meet these policyholder needs.
That is Missouri Net's Sue Danielson with the Director of the Department of Commerce and Insurance, Angela Nelson. Make sure you listen tomorrow. By September, nearly a third of Americans will live in states with legal aid in dying. Paula Spann is a reporter for the New York Times and KFF. She's covered aid and dying legislation for years, and she's going to join me tomorrow morning at 8:11 here on Total Information AM.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lynch.
The U.S. has seen more than 19